Welcome back to Wives on the Island. I'm Alyssa.
And I'm Jessica, and this week we're going to be catching up with one another because it's been a while since we've seen each other, since we've talked to each other. Alyssa has done fun stuff, I've done fun stuff, so we're going to talk about that. Our parenting topic is actually going to be gentle parenting. We both have different ways of doing things, so we're going to talk about that. And then our pop culture topic is going to be Season 2 recap of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. And I can't wait to talk about it. I took notes. I am ready. So
She's ready.
I'm so ready. So how have you been? I feel like, oh God, it's been forever.
It's been almost a month, and I've missed you so much.
I know.
But it's been good. My brother got engaged like 2 weeks ago, and they're getting married in November, and I'm literally so happy. I literally could cry. I'm so happy for them. I absolutely love his fiance. She's so wonderful. I can't wait to have a sister-in-law like her. I already have, a great one. So to add another one to the mix, I'm just so excited. I love her, and I'm so happy for him. It's so weird. He's 25, but like he's still my little baby brother, and like they're just like in the process of buying a house and doing all of this, and I'm like, oh my God, you're growing up, even though like I was 23 when I got married, and it's just so funny. And I didn't want to push them on it, but like they were trying to find a venue for the wedding, and they weren't having like good luck with it. They were just like, we don't like this, or it's a lot of money and it's not worth it. So I was like, well, why don't you try like where I got married? And I was 23, so my brother's 5 years younger, and he was like, I have zero recollection of your wedding. I'm like, thanks.
That's great.
Thank you. Love that. And so I was like, why don't you check out where I got married though? It's like a really good like price for you get a lot of food, and that they were really big on food. And they went there, and I was like, so how'd you like it? He's like, yeah, we're booking it. So they're getting married at the same place that my husband and I got married at. And it's just going to be like so special to bring our kids to the place that we got married, because my kids are going to be in the wedding. And I'm like, just so happy for them, and then happy that like we get to go back there, because it's not really like nobody in our family has had a party there before. So it's not like a place that we go to often. So I'm really excited that we have this opportunity to go back there and like tell our kids that this is where we got married too. And now I told our youngest brother, I was like, well, now he has to get married there too.
He's like,
so all
not
three
even
of us,
thinking about that.
Literally not even thinking about it. Doesn't even have a girlfriend, but I'm like, this is where you're getting married. So it's really, I'm really happy for them. But I wanted to tell you about my trip to Disney.
Yes.
So I'm just going to start off. It was wonderful. I'll just put it out there. I would do it again in a heartbeat. I had a great time. So I woke up, and like I'm not really a morning person. I set an alarm for 4:20, 4:30, and 4:40. Just because that first one was like, and I was like, I'm up. I gotta go. I gotta get and I got ready, got everything. All I took with me was a diaper bag, and it has like a little fanny pack that attaches to it. So that's what like I had for my stuff. I woke her up at 5 o'clock. We went to the airport, got on the plane. The flight was okay. Like I brought her headphones, let her watch the video or whatnot. And we got there, and we got there early. The plane landed early, and they were like, oh, we're early. And I was like, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. I knew it was going to land early because they always do.
Right.
And then they were like, but there's a plane at the gate we're at, so we have to wait. And we ended up waiting basically the 30 minutes that we were early to basically just be on time. So I was like, oh, that's annoying. But then I did a car rental, and as we were waiting online for the car rental, there was a Starbucks literally right behind us. I placed a pickup order. So once I got the thing, I just skirted back to Starbucks, picked up my coffee, and then we went to the park. We got into the park at 10:30, right as the parade was beginning. So we watched the parade, and she like fell asleep in the car to the park. So she was like, what's going on? Like I'm so overwhelmed.
How did I get here?
But yeah, but then like I bought the lightning lane. We did 7 rides.
Wow.
We met 7 characters. Her and I did the pickup for lunch. We both split a hot dog and a cheeseburger with French fries, and then we got some of those clementines, and we just like sat outside. And she has such a big personality. She loves to dance. So we were in like Tomorrowland, where it's all like futuristic, and it had the music. It was like beep boop boop, and she's like dancing to like the thing, and I'm like, do your thing, girl. And she just was having the time of her life, taking bites in between and whatnot. So it was really great. And she has a bit of an attitude, as you know. and she tends to fly off the handles very easily. She was so good. She did not give me a hard time at all in the park.
awesome.
Didn't cry at all. The only time she got upset was when she saw Mickey. She literally dropped to the floor to try to go under the velvet ropes because she wanted to hug him so badly. And I was like, we have to wait our turn. And she was like, Mickey. And I was like, I know. It was literally wonderful. Her seeing, like, she's really into Little Mermaid. So her seeing Ariel was wonderful. It's just her on the ride. She's like, it literally was so perfect. And then we went to the airport and it started to go downhill there.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was like, we're good. Like, our day is complete. There's nothing more that I could do here. So when we got, like, I had the car and I was like, I just need to, like, give back this car. Do not suggest ever renting a car seat from one of those things. It's like a shell of a car seat. I was panicked. Thank God there was, like, it wasn't a busy day and there was no traffic on the road, because I was like, this is not safe. So I just needed to get off the road. So I pulled into the first terminal and it was like Terminal C. And I was like, I don't even know if this is where I need to be. It wasn't. I need to be in Terminal A. So I had to take like 2 plane trains over to Terminal A.
Jesus.
And then there was a long TSA line. I'm sitting in like a 25-minute TSA pre-check line. And I get there and they're like, can I see the baby's boarding pass? I was like, she doesn't have one. She's a lap infant. And he's like, let me see your boarding pass. So I show them. They're like, you're at the wrong TSA line. Like, this is for gates 159 through whatever. And you're at gate 10. So you got to go down that way. So I'm like, I just waited on this line for nothing. And then I go down to the other place and they're like, okay, there was no line. Checked in, all good to go. And I was like, okay. And then because my gate was 10, right, I had to take another plane train to get to gates 1 through 29. And I was like, oh my God, what is with this airport? And then finally when I got there, we split like a dinner. Like, I got her pizza and I had a chicken salad with some chicken on top of it. And I gave her some chicken so she had some protein. But then we got on the plane and she was an absolute nightmare. But I think she was just overtired because she did fall asleep from the park to the airport.
Right.
She like fell asleep on both car rides and she just like got a second wind, but it was really supposed to be bedtime, so she was just like trying to find a comfortable position and it wasn't happening. We flew Frontier, and if you think Spirit is bad, wait until you fly Frontier.
I've flown Frontier. Yeah. I've never
No.
flown Spirit. I've flown Frontier.
Frontier is so much worse than Spirit ever could be. Like, never again. I would rather fly Spirit every flight than have to take another Frontier one. It's just chaos. And then when we get to Atlanta, after that horrible flight, I was like waiting for my stroller because you know how you put it at the gate? Well, it didn't come up. And I was like, oh God, please, like, don't lose my stroller. I cannot like walk this kid through this whole airport.
Right.
And they were like, we didn't lose it, but it's in the cabinet, like, the cabin underneath the plane, but they're having a hard time getting it open. So everybody's like luggage is stuck in there for right now. And I guess it's not a big deal. You'd just be waiting down at baggage claim, but I was right there.
Right.
So after 30 minutes and also we landed early again, but we had to wait because there was somebody in our spot. After 30, like basically an hour of waiting, we finally got the stroller. And then I go down to the plane train, another freaking plane train that I had to take to get to where I needed to go. And Jessica, this plane train was packed. It literally was like a can of sardines. And there was no way I was getting in there. Even so, there was this lady with a wheelchair. And it looked like there was another like airport employee that basically was like off shift and needed to go to leave. And she helped them get pushed through. And I was like, I literally don't have time for this. So I walked from B to T. And that's like 4 terminals I walked through because I was like, I just need to get out of here. And so that was another 30 minutes, I felt like. And by the time I got home, it was so late, but I was texting my husband. I was like, we got to give this kid a shower because she is disgusting between suntan lotion and sweat. And like I bought her this bubble machine because she saw the Ariel and it had all the bubbles coming out of it. And whatever, I had her in the stroller and she's holding it and I'm pushing her and I'm seeing all the bubbles and then the bubbles stop and I'm like, what is it doing? She had the bubble wand against her forehead collecting bubbles in a big thing, but it was in her hair and it was like became straw feeling. So I was like, we have to give this kid a bath. So we did that and then finally we were all good. But so the latter half of the trip was like not great, but like it's just like one of those things that would happen, and I'd rather have had it happen at the end of our trip rather than the beginning of our trip. So honestly, I count it as a win. And like I said, in the park, it was 10 out of 10. This will have been my fifth trip to Disney, like as a parent, and this was by far the least stressful trip I've ever had. It was just like, okay, we're gonna do this, and they switched up the lightning lane where you used to only be able to book like one at a time, and now you could book three at a time. And it's so much easier. And it was a slow day to begin with, which is why I went when I went, because I didn't want like high crowds, so the wait times weren't crazy even if I didn't have a lightning lane. So it was just like really good. She was great, she had a great time. Like I said, I would do it again, and it was just so nice to see her like get so excited about seeing like Mickey and Minnie and Ariel. It was just, I loved it. It was great.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy it went well. I was worried. I was worried.
I was
just
worried too.
because you're by yourself. You know what I mean? And that's a lot. But I'm happy that it went great, and I'm happy that even if she made a meltdown, it was at the end, and you weren't in the park, and
Exactly. And what's funny is my husband was like, everybody's like saying like, oh my God, I can't believe you're doing it, or that's so impressive, this and that. And he's like, if you took our son at this age to the park, I would have been like, okay, cake, that's cake, you know. But because you took our daughter, I give you props for that. And I was like, yeah, because like I was brave enough to do it, but she was really so good. And I feel like that's always the thing with kids. It's like you expect them to be bad in certain situations, and then they're angels, and then you expect them to be angels. Because in our last podcast, when I told you I was going, you were like, the flight home is going to be no problem, she's going to fall asleep. And I was like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, she didn't.
No, that was the only thing that like didn't go according to plan, so, but it was great. Like I said, I'd do it again, but you went to better places than I did. So how was your trip to Costa Rica?
So it was really good. It was good. We left on Saturday. And we got there, everything was like pretty good. The resort was nice. And then like Saturday, Sunday, Monday, we partied. I'm gonna be honest, we're old. Like we're getting old. So we would like go to the pool from like, I don't know, whatever, once we finish breakfast until like 12. Because to me, it's all about the suntan. Like that's all I want to do is I just want to get darker and be crispy and pretty in caramel. That's really all I want to do. So I just want to be where the sun is. And I don't even know if this is true. My aunt told me this when I was young, but like the sun is at its strongest early in the morning, like until 12. I don't know if that's true, but that's what she told me. So that's like, I'm always like, I have to be outside early in the morning until 12, and then at 12. So we would go get lunch, and then after lunch we would nap, so that way we could hang out late at night, because I wanted to dance. And you know me, if anytime I could go dance, I want to do it. So that was pretty much like our night. We would go to, they called it disco time, but they like, so like disco started at 10, and I think it ended at like 2. And so we would do that, and then they had shows
For 4
like
nights in a row?
Yeah, well, because we napped. We napped.
Oh my God,
you know what I mean?
good for you.
That's why.
Yeah.
So Wednesday we were supposed to do like a day trip to Nicaragua. It was like an excursion.
Did you not do that?
I did not, Alyssa, because on Tuesday night we went to the steakhouse, and I was like, yes, I love steak. Like my husband, not a big steak fan, but anytime
Really?
I can eat steak every day. It's like one of my favorite things. So I was super excited. We got there. I had like a little crab cake. I had the Caesar salad, and the steak came out, and the steak was swimming in like oil or butter. I was like, oh, this is gonna mess up my stomach, but I was like, I'm still gonna eat it. We got back to the hotel room. My stomach was like making all these. It was like, and I was like, oh, oh no. So I had to use the bathroom, and then I didn't stop. I threw up. I used the bathroom all night. We were supposed to get up at, I think it was the place was coming to pick us up at 5:15 so that we could go to Nicaragua. Like 3:30, I woke my husband up, and I was like, so we're not going to be able to go to Nicaragua today. I said, because I have gone to the bathroom at least 20 times since we've been home. And he's like, why didn't you wake me up sooner? And I was like, well, because at first I thought it was the butter. I just thought it was like,
it was just running through me. Yeah.
I was like, but then I threw up, and I was like, maybe not. And I was like, but then I was like, and then I was just hoping it would just go away. Like I was just hoping it would go away. It did not go away, and it was so bad that like Have you ever had like, I know
Yes,
it's
the
not,
answer to your question is yes, because my stomach is so messed up all the time. Yes.
yeah,
But
it
tell
was
me what
like
you're going to say.
when I burped, I could, like, it tasted and smelled like throw up. Like, it was so
Yeah.
bad. So I was like, oh God, my stomach is really bad. Like, it was bad. So my husband goes to he walks to the front desk, and we weren't, I don't know, one of the downsides to this resort was that it was like hilly. Like, it was hilly. Like, at one point, the golf cart didn't come fast enough, and my husband was like, we could just walk it. Alyssa, when I tell you, I was like, because it was so, like, the incline was so steep.
Yeah.
So
Wait, so
he
you walked it while you were feeling like that, or that's
no,
just
no,
another
this
time?
is just a
Okay.
different time.
I was going to
My
say, I hope he
husband
didn't make
walked
you.
it while I was sick. And he
Gotcha.
went to the front desk and he was like, look, we were supposed to have an excursion in like an hour and a half or 2 hours. We can't go. My wife is very sick. What should I do? Do you guys have medicine that I could give her or anything like that? They're like, we have a doctor on site. Plus, I had to get 2 shots in my butt because to stop the nausea, to stop the stomach issues, to stop having used the bathroom, I'm gonna be honest, the shots didn't work because I was still sick. She was like, she
What
didn't
did they
confirm it.
give you?
I have no idea, Alyssa,
I knew
because
you were going to say that.
I have no idea. She told me it was for the nausea. She told me she was giving me something for the pain, and she told me she was giving me something for to stop the runs that I had. You know what I mean? So she was like, "This is everything is it should stop it," and I was like, "Okay." And her English was great. She was wonderful. However, she didn't use gloves while she was like doing the shots, and I was like watching, and I was like, "Should I ask if she has gloves, or because we're in a different country, they don't use gloves?" You
Oh
know?
my
And then
gosh.
when I tell you, and I'm not a baby, I'm a baby when it comes to needles usually, but a needle in the
Yeah.
butt, after I had children, it doesn't affect me in any way, shape, or form now. But she literally was like, okay, I'm going to insert the needle. And I was like, okay. And then
Just do it.
she does it, right? And then she goes, okay, now I'm going to put the medicine in. It was I swear to God, it took like 5 minutes for each needle. And I was like, my butt
God.
hurts so bad.
Oh my
And so then we leave. She gives me like medicine for like 3 days because she's like, you still might have like, you got to take some of this. Some of it's like probiotics and stuff. And I was trying to like figure out what the medicine was, but because the medicine was given to us in Costa Rica, when I would look up the names of it, everything was in Spanish. So I was trying to like
Yep.
copy and paste into Google Translate so I could figure out what it was. And I was like, God, we brought all medicine except for Pepto. Like if I had just brought Pepto, this might have ended.
Yeah.
So my husband called the guy again, and she was like, eat like bread, rice, watermelon. And I was like, you know
Yeah.
me, I can eat watermelon. I mean, that's my absolute favorite. So
Yeah.
I was
But
like,
more
okay.
so bread and rice. I've never heard watermelon. They
Well,
do
she said
like
watermelon for the hydration, and the sugar helps, like because
Gotcha.
I was using the bathroom so much that I didn't have it. I
Yeah.
was like nothing.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, bread and rice, and so I was like, oh, okay. So I thought it would go away. So all Wednesday I was sick, like all
Oh,
Wednesday.
yeah.
My husband ate dinner, like he went to the restaurant and had dinner
Oh.
without me. I ordered just fruit to my room, and like he did whatever he did. I was like, he went to like one of the shows, and I was like, you sir, you do you, because I'm not getting out of this bed. And
Yeah.
then they had rescheduled our trip to Nicaragua for Friday since I had like a doc. They gave me like a
Okay.
doctor's note saying that I was at their doctor.
Gotcha.
And so I was like, okay, that'll be fun. So Thursday, my stomach was a little bit better. I did have a little bit of bread. I had a little bit of rice, but my stomach was still like acting up. It was good all morning. And then around dinner time, I was like I couldn't. I think I had some soup, and then I was like, okay, well, I'm done. And my husband was like, well, if I knew I was going to eat alone, and I was like, well, I didn't
Yeah.
know. I thought I was fine. But and then on Friday, he was like, if you're not better, I'm going to Nicaragua without you. Like, I want to go and see all this stuff. And I was like, that's fine. I felt like I was going to be better. And then on Thursday night, we got a phone call from the guy, and he was like, so apparently Nicaragua closed its borders, so we have to cancel the trip altogether. I was like, thank you, Lord, because my stomach was still not right. I mean, I would have pushed through. I did
Yeah.
ask him to ask, like, is there a bathroom on the bus?
Yeah.
And
Was
there
there?
would not have been, no. But they were like, we stopped throughout the time because it's like 2 hours to get to the border.
Yeah,
And
but
then I
your
was like,
stomach
where are
is
these
not on
stopping?
bus
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no. So, and then I was like, maybe I'll wear a diaper. Like, I mean, I was like, I was in it to win it. I wanted to do it so bad. But when they
Wait, so
canceled, I was like,
why
I
did
don't
they
know.
close the book?
I have no idea. I didn't
That's
look
a
it
little
up.
scary.
Yeah, well, that's what I said. I was like, ooh. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, maybe there was some unrest, some civil unrest or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, so by Saturday, I mean, we left on Saturday, but by Saturday, my stomach was like, I think that's the first time I ate. And like I had breakfast, not a lot, but I had a little bit for breakfast. Then we got on the plane, and on the plane they had food. And then when we got home kind of late, like around 9:30, 10 o'clock, and I was like, I'm starving. We went to Burger King, and I killed a Whopper. I was so hungry, and I wanted like, I don't want to say it like, I don't want to sound rude, but the resort food is only good for so long. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
it's
100%.
not switched up like when you go to like lunch. Lunch was the same thing. Like there was the same thing for lunch every day, and I was like, I could only eat
Yeah.
pasta so much, only eat so much rice and beans because I was killing rice, not beans. But I was like, I need like food, yeah, because that would have jacked my stomach up even more. I was like, I need food, and so I had like the biggest Whopper I've ever had in my life. So yeah, so Saturday I felt better. I took Pepto when I got home, and I was like, this is what I needed the whole time. Like my stomach settled right after I had it. So
Wow, so the Pepto worked for you, huh?
yeah, Pepto
Cool.
usually always works for me. Unless I'm
Interesting.
throwing up. And like I said, I only threw up once.
Once.
So it wasn't, but if it was like a stomach virus, Pepto wouldn't have worked for me because it actually, when I throw up, it makes me throw up even more because it makes me sick to my stomach. It's gross. So
Yeah.
yeah, so that was my Costa Rica trip. It was fun. I do have to say that on the Thursday, there was a wedding that came through, and they were from New York. And oh my God, they were the most fun people watching I've had in my life. They were
I'm
like
sure.
Puerto Rican black from New York, like Afro Puerto Rican. And so they were trying to speak Spanish, but it was like Spanglish, which I thought was hysterical because the people at the resort were like, and then they would say it slower. And I was like, it still doesn't mean what you think it means.
Yeah. That's so funny.
And then all the guys that were there, when they went into the pool, like three of them had like wife beaters on, and then other guys had on their white shirts, and then one guy wore his Nike socks, and he was like, people aren't seeing my toes for free.
Oh my gosh.
So like when
Yep.
he's walking on the pool, he has like these wet socks. I was like,
Ew, that's the weirdest thing I've ever heard.
it was so weird, but they were so funny. It was so funny. And then when like we went to the disco, it was a great time. I did see there was a domestic violence situation at our resort. One of the nights we were
God.
at the disco,
But were they drunk?
and they had been drinking. I saw them at the pool drinking. Then they were at the bar where the restaurants were. They were at that bar drinking. And the guy was like, I don't know, he was like buff, like swole.
It wasn't our friends
swollen.
from New York, though, right?
No. This was
Okay.
before the friends from New York got there. This guy
Okay.
was like a bodybuilder, swole, and his girlfriend was like 3 pounds. And you could tell he was drunk when we were at the disco. My husband went to use the bathroom, and I was standing at the bar with some of the people that we were talking to. All of a sudden, I felt like this cup on my ass. Somebody cupped my butt, and I was like, and I turned around thinking it was my husband, and the guy looked at me, and I was like, excuse me, and he goes, I'm sorry. And the guy next to him goes, oh, is that your wife? And I was like, I am not his wife. And he goes, no, I thought she was my girlfriend. First of all, we didn't look anything alike. I was like 3 times bigger than his girlfriend, like just height-wise and weight-wise. I was wearing a dress, she was wearing pants. So in no way could you have confused us for the same person. But I was like, you know what? He's drunk. He said sorry. I was like, I'll just
Did you
let it
guys
go.
have the same color hair?
No, she was blonde. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like there was no, you didn't think you didn't think that, but I was
Did you
like,
tell your
yeah.
husband?
I did tell my husband, and my husband like looked at him, and my husband was like, I said, he said sorry.
I don't want any problems.
Yeah, I was like, he said sorry, but the guy was drunk. Like you could just tell he was drunk. So I was like, just leave it alone. Then
Oh
all of
my
a sudden,
God.
the guy gets into a fight with another guy that was like on the other side of the thing.
He probably did the same thing.
Yeah. Well, he mushed some guy. He was talking to a guy and then mushed his face. And it was just, he was drunk. So then his girlfriend tries to like control him. Like she's like, we need to leave, because then they called
Yeah.
security because it was, and he kind of like grabbed her like this and like held her back. And I was like, that's not good. Then security came. So we were like, okay, they escorted them out. So when we left the
Wow.
disco, she's standing in the reception area and she's in her nightie. Like, so they must have gone to their hotel room. She's in her nightie. She's got like black streaks down her eye, and he's sitting in a chair with his hands handcuffed behind his back. Apparently they got back to the room and he attacked her or hit her or did something. So he was getting
my
arrested.
gosh.
And then I was trying to figure out with my husband, like, what happens in a Costa Rican jail? Like,
Yeah.
what do you just get kicked off the resort? Does he have to leave the resort? Does she have to leave the resort? What if they're here until Thursday? Like, I had so many questions. My husband's like,
my God, yeah.
I don't know any of this. I was like, oh, okay.
I would immediately want to know.
And then I was like, do you stay on the resort and have like the time of your life now that your person's in jail? Or do you like, and my husband was like, oh, if that was us and the tables were reversed, he goes, I wouldn't bail you out. I'd stay here and do the rest of my vacation. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know that I would stay at that resort.
Wow.
And yeah, so that was interesting, because you know me, I like to be in everybody's business. So I was like trying to, like, while we're waiting for the golf cart, I was like trying to like lean back so I could listen to what was going on. And I was like, you'll never believe. And he's like, can you just mind your business? And I'm like, no, I cannot.
No.
I need to know. I need to know. I need to be in the know. Just like I listen to everybody's conversations. Like when we were at the pool, I had my AirPods in, I had some music on, but every once in a while I just listen to what people were saying. So
That's my husband.
He's nosy.
Oh my God. Sometimes we're at like a restaurant, we're talking, and I'm talking to him and I see him like drifting his eyes, and I'm like, what? And he goes, so those people next to us, they're from Australia and they're visiting and they came here because of a funeral. And I'm like, who cares? I'm literally talking to you.
I do that all the time to my husband. I do it all the time. I love it. I love listening to other people's problems. My husband will
I
be like,
usually
I need you
do
to focus.
too, but
I need you to focus.
yeah. Oh my God. Well, at least you had at least you lost some weight probably.
Well, you know what's funny? I only gained 2 ounces.
Oh, that's a win.
That's a win. That's what I said. I was
That's
like,
a
you gotta look
win.
on the bright side. I gained 2 ounces, and I drank a lot. I found a new drink. I know it's not new to anybody really, but I've never drank it before. We had
is it?
mojitos.
Lord,
But the
Jess.
mojitos had coconut rum in them
Like
instead of
Malibu?
whatever. Huh? No, well, yeah, like Malibu, but they have a different kind of rum there. But yeah, but Alyssa, don't judge, okay? I've never had a mojito in my life, and so I had them, and it was my favorite thing, because usually I do like pina coladas and my
Yeah.
husband's like, oh, the pina coladas are kind of sweet. Try a mojito, and I was like, I've never had that. And he was like, you probably like it, and so I tried it, and it was that's all I asked for the whole time.
I love how you emphasize the tea and the mojitos.
The mojitos, that's what they are. Is that not what
Just
it is?
like your tortilla. No, I don't know, mojitos.
Oh, tortillas? My tortillas? I don't actually say it like that. That's a joke.
I know.
I do say it like that, but I know that they're tortillas. Like,
Yeah.
So
We know, Jess. Well, at least you had a good time.
good time.
You know?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a good
Would you go back?
yes, I would like to go back. I saw a monkey, so that was exciting. My husband saw another monkey the day that I was sick, so that hurt my feelings because I didn't get to see him in a tree. I was like, I wanted to see monkeys.
Yeah.
And the sand was nice, so I would go back because I
Okay.
want to explore the island. Like
Yeah.
we kind of stayed on the resort, so I would go back to explore the island.
What island?
Not well, maybe not an island. The country, the Costa Rican country. It's not an island. We were on a beach, so in my mind, it's an island.
Gotcha,
You know what I mean?
gotcha,
Like,
okay.
That's how I.
Well,
that's how I
like,
say it.
this is a bad example, but like off, like Puerto Rico. Obviously, it's an island, but there's other islands like off of Puerto Rico that you
Yes.
can explore. So that's why when you said like the island, I didn't know if like you meant like Costa Rica or like islands off of Costa Rica. So just
No,
clarifying.
I just meant Costa Rica in general. I just want to. I
Okay,
want to
okay.
explore. They have a rainforest. They have like a sloth park.
Yes.
And I want to do
Yes.
that. And like I said, we wanted to go to Nicaragua because they have like this big lake, and there was going to be like a boat. Like you go on a boat and have lunch on this island, like an
Yeah.
island next, like in the middle of Nicaragua. I don't know how it is, but it's like an island in the middle of the lake. So I guess it's not really an island. I don't know. we were supposed to do all that and we didn't get to do it. So I would like to do it and not get
Next
sick.
time.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And then you came home to have an emotional week.
Oh my God. So I look like this because my week has been emotional and long and draining. So my daughter graduated high school and
With
so proud of
honors?
her. With honors,
Of
National Honor
course.
Society, and then graduated as an honors graduate. I don't know.
I love it.
An honors graduate means she had a 3.9 or a 3.8 and above. So all 4 years.
That's amazing.
So let me tell you, because Mama was nowhere near that as her high school GPA. So I'm so proud of her because she did better than me. So, but yes, so we had her graduation. I cried all Friday on her graduation. I held it in until the graduation, and then even her little sister cried. She cried harder than me. Like I was crying, but like,
Well, yeah, now she's gonna lose somebody, though. I think
Yep.
that's
what it
yeah.
is. She's realizing like the finality of her sister won't be here every single day with her. So she's like, I'll FaceTime her every day. And I was like, No, you won't, but okay.
No, she probably
She'll
would.
try, but
Yeah.
she's gonna be in school. She can't be FaceTiming all day, but they will text all the time, so that'll be
Yeah.
exciting. But yeah, and then we had on Saturday was her graduation party, and all her friends came. You know, we had all the family here, and it was nice. Her friends had a good time. You know, there was music. We had put a tent outside, so that way nobody had to be
Yes.
in the house. We had like Jenga, like this outside Jenga Connect Four and some cornhole. And then we had like it's like a makeshift photo booth kind of thing on the fence. It said congrats, and then they took pictures by it and stuff like. So it was just a
Yeah.
lot of fun for them. It was a lot of work and a lot of balloon blowing. We bought a helium tank so that we could have the balloons, and that's just a pain in the ass. I was like, from
Yeah.
now on, I'm having somebody else do this for us.
Yeah. I will say down here it's a lot cheaper to do like balloon arches because like in New Jersey for like a balloon arch it's like $400. I bought one for my son's first birthday and I was like, why am I spending this much on balloons? Actually, I think my mom did, but whatever. But down here it's a lot cheaper. So yeah, for your next daughters, just
Yeah, we're just
save a
gonna
little
somebody for
extra.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, this
Yeah.
is rough. And my dad popped like 4 balloons while he was trying to he was trying to blow them up. I was like, So yeah, it was good. We had food, and it was a good time. So this weekend, everybody finally left on Friday. Well, no, everybody left. My brother left on Sunday. My parents
Oh, your
left.
brother came?
Yes, he did. My
Oh,
brother, my niece, and his wife came, and yeah,
love that.
yeah, it was so cute because my brother's wife and my niece didn't come to the actual graduation because she's just 2. You know what I mean? So it was
Yeah.
like right around nap time. Then there were 752 children in my child's graduating class.
Oh my gosh.
So
Well, we were there all like, how long was that? Like 3 hours to get through?
you know what the thing was? I think we were done by 4:45 and it started at 2. So they did a great job of like moving through the names.
Yeah.
But my last name starts with an
700.
H. You know what I mean? So like
Yeah.
once I saw my daughter, I was like, we go. My dad, brother, and my husband all got up at some point thing after.
Yeah.
And they were like, they went and got food. They like hung out and were like talking to each other. And I'm like still sitting there watching, clapping for like my daughter's friends.
Yeah.
And it's funny because our next door neighbor, not a next door, but across the street neighbor, their son graduated too. And so she texts me and she's like, well, we did it. And I was like, well, I didn't do much, but yeah, I birthed her.
I know, but I texted you this too. You and your husband have did an absolutely amazing job with both of your daughters, and like you guys are like parenting goals from my end. So no, like congratulations to you too.
Thank you. I'm going to be honest. A lot of it was more my husband than me. I
I know,
am
but
like I know I raised them, but my husband is if we like try to move it with our thing, we did not do gentle parenting, and my husband was super strict, and he was the one who kind of kept me on track of being strict with them. You know what I mean? But my husband is very like big on grades, big on like my youngest, literally, she is 15 and she just got a cell phone like this weekend because
Yeah.
she had to earn the cell phone. Like she had to have the certain grades for it and all that stuff. And she hadn't done it. I mean, she's going into her junior year, so she'll have a phone going into her junior year, and then she has to keep her grades a certain. So it's things like that my husband, I would have given her a phone at 9. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
because everybody else had it, that's what I would have done. But
Yeah.
it was. So I always give my husband a lot more credit than I give myself. Even though I helped with homework and I did all that kind of stuff. Math
Yeah,
homework
it's always,
for me
yeah, not the
stopped
math.
at 3rd grade. I was like,
Yeah.
we're going to have to YouTube this. So.
Yeah. But yeah, let's move on to our next topic then. But congratulations to your daughter, and I cannot believe like she's going into college. It's just so crazy.
I'm going to be a hot mess in August. So
I know.
we'll have to talk about that. That'll be, I think
Yeah.
I'll be more emotional in August than I was.
For sure.
Because I'm leaving
Yeah.
her.
Yeah.
But yeah, so let's move on to our parenting topic of gentle
Yes.
parenting.
So, gentle parenting, if we're going to go from the definition, gentle parenting is a parenting style that focuses on building a strong, respectful relationship between parents and children. It encourages parents to respond to their children's needs with empathy and understanding rather than traditional methods of punishment and control. The core principles of gentle parenting include empathy, respect, understanding, boundaries. While that definition sounds nice, I don't think that is, I don't really think when you see gentle parenting being done, I don't think that is what is being like
I don't
really
think so either.
followed.
I
Did you gentle parent?
I did not. I didn't, which is funny because my mom gentle parented us in a way. I mean, I got spanked because I was a boundary pusher, and I only responded to getting spanked. Like, my mom tried everything before she spanked me. She tried timeout. She tried talking to me, letting me express my feelings. My mom was very big on that because she came from an era where they just spanked. They didn't ask questions. They just hit you. So my mom didn't want that. And so she tried gentle parenting. It worked for my brother. Like, timeout worked for him. She would then, when he got off timeout, she would be like, do you know why I put you on timeout? And he would say yes, and they would talk about it. And I consider that gentle parenting. Like, to me, that's gentle parenting. Now, with my children, we tried that. Like, as they got older, we would talk to them. But when they were younger, I spanked. My youngest daughter's a lot like me, so she really only responds to spanking because she, like me, will make it worse for herself. Like, I remember one time we're like, you have to clean your room, and you're not going to come out of your room until your room is clean. She was like, nah, I guess I'm not coming out of my room. You know what I mean? Like, she would just sit in the filth of her room, and she'd sit there all day, and to her it wasn't punishment. So for her, spanking worked. With my oldest daughter, you yell at her and she starts crying. So it's like, you know what I mean? So I would say that we didn't gentle parent, and there are some things of gentle parenting that I wish I did do, because I do feel like your children should be heard. So, like,
Absolutely.
I will talk to my kids. You know, I'll be like, okay, well, you know what you did was wrong. You know, this is what my husband wants no part of that. He's like, we spank, we're done, it's over with, and we're done. You know. So I didn't gentle parent, and I still don't. But I feel like I incorporate some things of gentle parenting in there.
Yeah, I agree with you. So we are not gentle parenters. I mean, we do spank to a degree, and I do go with like what you said with your mom, with your brother. Like, we do that. Like, you gotta spank, sit in timeout, and then be like, listen, why did you do that? And we talk it out. But there is immediate repercussions. You know, we didn't need to take those measures with my son necessarily. He's a people pleaser just by nature, and he likes to follow the rules. But there was times where, you know, getting into his own, he was pushing the envelope a little bit with us, and we were like, no. I do find that with my daughter, we are a little harder on her in both ways. Like, we have to spank with her and also kind of over explain. I mean, she is only 2, but she is the type of person where she's like, we're like, hey, please don't throw your water bottle off the table just because you're mad. Like, don't do it. And if she does it, there's not going to be no repercussions. There's absolutely not. It's just whether it's a timeout, a smack on the hand, and it's never where it's like leaving a mark for us or anything like that. It's just like, just has to be. But I feel like she's just too young to like understand in the way like, hey, you're not supposed to do that because it could do, you could just make a mess, and that's not the way to handle it. She doesn't care. Honestly, I feel like my son probably would be able to comprehend it. She doesn't care. This is exactly what he said. Well, this isn't punishment to me. This is me just chilling back here if I, if she were in timeout. That's just how she is. Now, my son is almost 5. I can't even tell you the last time we spanked him. We threatened him because he lacks personal space with my daughter, and she doesn't like to be touched and hugged and just grabbed, and he does that with her in a playing manner, and we're like, hey, you need to respect her boundaries, and like, she doesn't like that, don't touch her like that, don't, because like when you're playing around with the kid and you're like this on their butt or this on their belly, she doesn't like that, and he does that to her all the time because he likes it, and we have tried to gentle parent that. You don't touch her like that. She doesn't like it. It makes her very mad. Or if she takes something from him, he'll be like, can I have that? And grab it out of her hand. And we're like, no, you have to ask her for it. Let her give it to you. And that's how you proceed with it. And he doesn't respect that. So we're like, hey, if you hit her or like touch her like that again, you're going to get smacked. And he's like, okay. So with him, it's a little bit, you're able to talk. But I just like hate being out in a public setting at dinner, or even like, as a stay-at-home mom, I'm bringing my kids to a lot of parks. And if they get handsy with her or like they're doing something that, please don't do that. What are we going to do instead? But I'm like, no, like your kid just shoved my kid. I literally had to yell at some kid at the park the other day. Like, I shouldn't have to tell your kid not to push my kid, and you don't make a peep. Like that's I feel like it's like an irresponsible at that point for parents just to, I get the point. Do I see the benefit of gentle parenting? Yes. Because you don't want them to be like, I grew up getting hit all the time, and I did say, I was like, I don't want to do that to my kid, but I feel like there's a difference where it's like you're doing it overly and not communicating with them. I feel like you have to have both, but like I feel like especially like let's say at 2, they don't understand. There's no repercussion in their mind. Like they don't understand, like, we don't do that. They're like, why? Why wouldn't we do that? We could do whatever we want. So it's really hard to be around it as well.
It is. And that was what I was going to say. I don't think when you read the definition of gentle parenting, the reason why I really liked this was because I don't think people are doing gentle parenting. I think people are just like letting their kids do what they want. Because like now I look at it and there are parents like you said, at the park. I am not a judger of, I try very hard not to judge other parents. I do judge them, but I try my hardest not to.
Yeah.
But like, even when we went to Costa Rica, we were there and this has nothing to, it's not gentle parenting, but it's just like the way that people parent their children. There was a baby there and we did hibachi the last night, and I was, and they put a high chair right next to my husband, and I was like, oh, Jesus. Right? I was like, oh. And it was the grandmother. She was like, don't worry. He's like 16 months. But you know how like, when children are overly tired, like they're exhausted and then they're like miserable. So one, he was scared of the fire. I get it. It's hibachi. But we didn't get a fire show because he was scared of the fire. I was like, take your kid outside because I want to see a fire show. I came for hibachi. Like, I don't know why I have to suffer because your kid doesn't like it. Walk him out of the restaurant. But I was like,
or move him back.
Yeah.
Like, or something.
He was scared at the fire. It was behind us. Like, it wasn't even near him. So he started crying. So then the guy did it once, and the kid had, like, a meltdown. And I was like, okay, you know what, Jessica? You've had children. You've been there before. But he was so exhausted. Like, he just kept crying. And I'm like, take him out of here. Like, be the parent. I understand you want to eat. Have your husband get you a to-go plate. But take him out of here because not only is he miserable, he's making everyone else miserable.
But why couldn't they do hibachi 2 hours earlier?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Like, that's my biggest thing because I hate, like you and I and our other like old coworker, when we go out to dinner, remember we went to that one Italian place and it was a little later than like my kids would eat. And I'm like, and then there's like a bunch of kids here and I'm like, what? Like, go home.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, aren't they supposed to be asleep?
Right.
You know?
That's the thing. I'm like, this kid, you could tell he didn't nap the night before. His nose was running. So he was probably like, he could have caused something, but he was miserable. And I'm like, you could look in his eyes and just see he's miserable. And I'm like, take him home. You know what I mean? But it was just like, I feel like they were gentle parenting. I think they were like gentle parenters because they were like, they didn't see anything wrong. And I think that that's the issue that I have, like with gentle when I see people trying to do gentle parenting, like I've even seen it on TikTok. I saw this one where the mom's like, we're not going inside until you use your inside voice. You can't go inside because you're just yelling and you're being inappropriate. The daughter threw a chair at her mom, like threw the
Nice.
the little kid lawn chair at their mom, and her mom's
Yeah.
like, I don't like when you do that to me. That hurt me. Let me tell you, if my child ever threw a chair at me, I would have snatched her up and beat her butt. You know what I mean? Like you don't allow them. Like, that's not gentle parenting. You're just letting your kid do whatever they want. And you think that talking to them, like you said, at 2, 3, 4, their comprehension is not the same. A little
Yeah.
hop on the butt gets their attention. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's instant. And I know people will say that's abuse. But it's not abuse. You're not leaving a mark. You're not beating them until they're welts. It's like 3 pops on the butt, 2 pops on the butt to get their attention so that they know that it's bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's the same thing
exactly.
when my daughter was a biter. Like she bit somebody. She bit her sister. She wasn't in daycare, so because I was a stay-at-home mom. But she bit her sister. Let me tell you, I bit her back. I didn't break skin. I didn't leave a mark. But
lot of people
guess
do
what?
that.
She didn't do that. She didn't do it
Yeah.
again. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you don't have. It's not abuse if you're trying to teach them a lesson of why. You know what I mean? Like you're not going crazy. I'm not beating them with anything, you know what I mean? It's just your hand, 2 pops on the butt, and it's over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I feel like
I freak out.
I feel like the issue is that the definition and the principle of gentle parenting. It's like, yes, you're not using those spanking methods, but like the point is to like have the kids understand. And sometimes if I'm like, listen, I know my daughter's like in a certain space emotionally that she cannot, because she's a little more finicky than my son is, right? He just go with the flow, whether it was a little pop in the hand, I need to talk to him, whatever. I could just do whatever I want to do and he would be good with it. Her, I have to kind of see how she's doing, but I feel like the issue is like, an example, if a kid at a park's throwing stuff, this and that, and the mom's like, hey, we don't do that. Don't do that. I would be like to my daughter, come over here. You hold her by the shoulders. And I always say, and my sister-in-law has actually applauded me and my husband about doing this. I say, look in my eyes. We don't do that. And that's what I think. It's like a difference between like, they're running off at the park and being like, they're not even hearing you. So, hey,
Right.
don't do that. That's why you have them come over them. You hold them, have them look in your eyes, and you tell them, that's not okay. We don't do that. The next time you do that, we're leaving.
Yep.
It needs to be more like that. You're not putting your hands on your child in that, but I never see that happen.
Nope.
Ever. Because
And
obviously
they don't want to
it's-
leave either because that's their out for them. Like there have
Yeah.
been times where my
I don't care.
youngest-
I'm good at home.
Yep, my youngest used to have temper tantrums everywhere. And I tried that, like, I remember she had a meltdown in the grocery store once. And my mom told me the first time she does it, like, walk away from her. Like, just ignore her, walk away from her. And so, like, I kind of, like, walked behind, like, the frozen food thing. And she didn't give 2 shits. She laid on the ground and just screamed. And then people are like, where's her mom? And I was like, I'm here. I literally, full cart and everything, took her, walked her out of the store and left. Like, I was like, because one, nobody else should have to deal with her temper tantrum. You know what I mean? Like, they didn't come to the grocery store to hear a child scream. And I understand that kids cry, but, like, you have to do that. Like, did I want to go back and have to go grocery shopping all over again? No, I
No.
didn't. But my child needed to be removed from that situation because
Yeah.
she wasn't doing well. I wasn't going to spank her because she's having a temper tantrum. That doesn't do anything because
Yeah.
it just makes her cry harder. So I put her in the car, brought her home, and I put her in her room. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
sometimes, and I think that people don't want to do the hard work. Like, gentle parenting isn't to make it easier. It still is hard. Like you said, you have to redirect them. You have to, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to take them out of certain situations and let them know
And I
this is not
don't
okay.
see that happening.
No.
And I don't see that happening. And honestly, it might not be happening at the park or at the library or at whatever, but maybe it's happening at home, but it's probably not, because if it was happening at home, then they wouldn't be acting like that at the park
Right.
or the library or wherever. And that's like the biggest thing is like you can kind of see how it is at home versus how it is. And yeah, granted, like I said earlier, my daughter, not great on the flight home. But like that's just one of those things where it's like I trust me, I tried to shush her. I'm like pacifier in, like and things like
Right.
that. But it's like one of those things. And did I feel bad? Yeah, but I'm not gonna spank her for like crying. She's tired,
She's exhausted. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think there's other steps that like my husband and I tried to take before resulting in a little slap on the hand. It's like trying to be like, hey, if you do that again, the biggest thing for us is you look at me on my eyes. So like, no, I'm serious.
Right.
So you look at me, we're not doing that again. If you do it again, you're going to go in timeout. And if they do it again, timeout. Next time you do it, you're getting smacked. And
Right.
if they do it again, then okay, then you're getting smacked again if you continue doing it. And
Yep.
usually it doesn't really go past that first smack. But then then we don't have to deal with it again. They get it. And then after like the timeout, because my son's a crier. My daughter is like, she's crying, and 2 seconds later, she's like laughing. And I'm like, you scare me. My son, on the other hand, he takes it a little harder. So honestly, all we really have to do is yell at him. And he's like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. And I'm like, okay, relax, But with the gentle parenting, do I think that there was a time where parents took it too far? Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, there was. Just not acknowledging your kid acting badly.
Right.
Acting badly or, rude to other kids, and not
Right.
really reeling them in and acknowledging what they're doing is not okay. That's also not okay.
Right.
So it's like you need to find that special like sweet spot, and like find that sweet spot. And if your kid handles that, because like I said, with my son, we didn't need to do it often, maybe 1 or 2 times, honestly. But like you need to identify what your child needs, and then take it from there. But I just think it's so like irresponsible, and you're putting other kids, like when they do go to like pre-K or kindergarten, in a situation, the teachers in situations where your child doesn't know how to act. And listen, I feel like coming from, and you could say this too, because like your oldest daughter, good kid, like rule follower. The same thing with my son. But then our seconds, the youngest ones.
Like if you want to have a
Absolutely.
breakdown, do you in the house, because that means you feel safe being bad around me, and that
Yes.
even though you're going to get in trouble, you know that we love you. But when you're out in public, and I have to say again, my husband helped a lot with this. My children were angels in public. There were times where my youngest would have temper tantrums in public, like when she was younger. But as they got older, my kids were perfect in public. Like my kids were perfect when other people watched them. I mean, we had people asking, can I babysit your kids? That's how good my kids were in public. However, at home, they fought nonstop. They cried all the time. Like, I mean, it's constant bickering and fighting and stuff like that. But again, we're at home. I don't care.
Yeah,
I don't care
absolutely
'cause nobody's
no.
around.
Same thing. We went to dinner literally 3 nights ago to our favorite like Mexican place. We're embarrassingly there too often, but we haven't gone in like almost a month. And we went the other day, and it was like a new waitress or whatever, and she was like obsessed with my daughter, like, oh my god, hi. And we are not iPad kids. That might have to be another topic. We don't do iPads or any kind of screens at the table. If the TV is on, my son's super into sports, and if there's like commercials and animals, my daughter likes that. We don't do the iPads at the table. We're talking to our kids. We're doing the little crayons thing. And at the end of the dinner, the waitress came over, brought us our bill, and she was like, she has been so good. She's so well behaved. And I was like, you caught her on a good day. And I was like, no, I take that back. Actually, she's very good when we're out, unless she's like overtired for some reason or just not in. And then we're in and out. I don't like waste time. Sometimes we're like eating halfway through our meal, and I'm like, give me the check now. Like I'm not prolonging my time here for no reason. But I was like, no, for the most part, I will say in public, she is very good. And then it's at home, which I'm okay with. I'd rather her be that way. I literally just said that, I kid you not, like 3 days ago. So I'm totally on board with that. And that's what my parents always said. They're like, you could be like wild and stuff at the house, but as long as you're well behaved out in public, I don't care.
Yeah. Yep. And I think that's it. So I feel like gentle parenting needs to be done correctly in order for it to work.
Exactly. I don't have a problem with gentle parenting as long as it's done correctly.
Yeah.
So let's move on to our big
It's time to get into it. I'm so excited.
Gosh.
Okay. So
I don't even know where to
we both
begin.
watched it. We
Yes,
both
it
watched
was
it. Finished
amazing.
It. Another reason why I look like this, because I had to finish it before we.
This is easily the best reality show on TV in a long time. Like in the last.
It's like
time.
original Housewives, like original.
Yes.
Like you know what I mean. Like when it first started, Jersey Housewives. That's when it.
Yes.
When it was at its
Or
peak.
even like
that's what they are.
I didn't watch Housewives,
Oh, that's right. You're a little young.
but I was on an episode in the background of New Jersey Housewife because
Were you?
it was when, was it Kathy or Jacqueline? She was wanted to open a bakery and
Oh, Kathy.
it was Kathy, yeah. They did like little samples of all these desserts that she had, and they were having a soft launch at this ice cream place right in Patterson that we used to go to because I was raised there for a period of time. So we went there. Amazing spot, Gelati's in Patterson, literally iconic. But we went there and I met Albie Manzo there, and I was in the back when they were recording.
Aww.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
yay. How exciting.
I know, right? I bought the episode on like iTunes back in the day, so I always have it. But it's like, for me, it's like the beginning of like Vanderpump Rules, where it was just so chaotic and nobody cared about anything. It was TV gold. So like, do you want to go by like episode 1 or just like, how do you want to?
I think we should do it by girls. I think that's how
Okay,
we should
yeah,
do it.
love
We
that.
should break it down by girls. So let's get the boring ones out of the way first. I said like we.
Okay.
Okay. So what did you think of Miranda?
If you remember the last time we talked about it, I was like, I don't need her. I thought she was okay. I think she played it safe in this.
Yes.
Which I appreciate. I like how she kind of like told Chase, like, go kick rocks at the party. I appreciate that. I did not like how she was like not really. Okay, so I feel like I take that back. It's not that I didn't like that she was not really telling us what happened with the whole swinging thing and kind of like making Taylor look like a liar. I also think that we have to remember these are Mormons and who are
Yes.
active in the church, and she doesn't want this stuff being aired on national television with her family watching and hearing everything that she has done.
But then don't be on a reality show. Is kind of how
Yeah.
I look at it. You
So
know what I mean?
yes. So I was like, but then don't come up on here trying to mooch off of these girls
Right.
when you're not willing to tell it all. And especially when you have someone like Taylor who's
tells it
gonna
all.
say it all.
And I love it.
Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I didn't really have like a this or that. I do like that like they didn't get into her love life. I like that it was
Yeah.
just like her. There was no like she's a single mom trying to date, and that it was just like this is Miranda.
Yep.
And
Okay.
I appreciated that. Yeah.
Okay.
What did you think about her?
So in my notes, because like I said, I took notes. I thought she gave me nothing. I really wasn't. I was like, okay, I could take or leave you. It freaked me out how much Chase looked like Justin Bieber at the thing.
Both
Like,
of them, him and his girlfriend.
Yeah,
like,
I was
I
like,
literally thought
this
that was
is
Haley
weird.
Bieber.
Yeah. I
Yes.
was like,
Who, by the way, is now single. Because as
yes,
of
I
like
know.
2 days
I
ago,
saw
you saw
their
TikToks.
TikTok. Yep, I saw it.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to be on the show, though. Like, I see
Yeah.
her, I'm like, yeah,
Oh,
we
no,
don't
no,
need
no.
you. I think the thing that bothered me was, like you said, I know she played it safe, and I know why she did it, because she wants to be part of the group,
Yeah.
and she doesn't want to. But I think, and this is my whole, as like a whole group, they don't stand up for each other. Like, none of them are, like, me and you are friends. And if you were going through, like, I saw, like, when Miranda tried to, like, get buddy-buddy with Jen, and she kind of knew what was going on in, like, her mental health, not talking about, like, the lies or anything like that. She never once stood up for her and said, like,
Yeah.
she's going through something, like, real. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I understand where you guys are coming from, but I feel like none of them are really good friends because nobody had anybody's back. And that
Well,
really...
let's get into the next boring girl who doesn't stick up for anybody as Layla.
Layla? Yes, that
Yeah.
good, because she's second. She was second
Yeah.
in mine because she doesn't.
No.
Again, to me, I'm not a fan. She seems
No.
super fake.
I
I'm
agree.
gonna be honest, her body drives me crazy. Like, what procedures are you getting? She was like a size 0 in the first season, except for maybe
Yeah.
making her boobs bigger. I was like, she doesn't need tummy tucks. She doesn't need any of that stuff. I was like, girl, what are you doing?
I think her nose job, she got a nose job as
She
well.
got a nose job. Oh, I didn't know that.
That's what it
Okay.
was. Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
But
'cause
yeah,
I was like-
she was giving industry plant this whole
Yes,
season.
yes.
To
I
the
thought-
T.
I thought it was horrible. The pregnancy roulette.
Oh, that was terrible. Absolutely
Like,
terrible.
That was horrible. That was a horrible idea. I think
If you were a good friend to Demi, is it
right.
If you were a good friend
and you
to Demi,
knew
you
that
wouldn't
she
have done
was
that.
having IV like issues
Yeah.
conceiving.
She
There's
was
no way
literally-
that would have right.
She was literally just at the table, what, an episode or two beforehand, crying
Yeah.
at the table.
Yep.
And then you were like, let's play pregnancy roulette. Like,
Yep.
But did Layla know that Michaela was pregnant and that's why she did it?
I don't think she knew any of them were pregnant. I think she thought it would just be fun. Well, that's what I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, I didn't like her. I didn't
No.
like.
Ugly boyfriend who she's
my
not with
God.
anymore. Like, ew.
Right, no.
And honestly,
Ew.
have you seen her husband, their ex-husband
No.
rather? Jump scare. Like,
Really?
literally gross. Like, she could do so much better. I don't know if it's just like insecurities within
And
herself
her
that
hair
she's just,
bothered me all
oh,
season.
terrible.
First of all, when they were like, okay, just because my children have black hair, they have, you know what I mean? Like my daughter has 4C hair, my other one has like 2B hair. So hers is more like mine, except super curly. The way that they were, when she was at the Jay-Z salon and they were like curling her hair wasn't curling. I was like, you guys can't do the same thing that you're doing to Demi's hair to hers. Like, it really bothers me. It really bothers me. I'm like, I need you to
Yeah.
get somebody with color to do your hair because it just, the tracks with the bald spot and the
And
if
that's really
Jesse's
no
doing her
shade.
hair, I need her to do better on
Yeah.
Layla because that was a hot mess.
Yeah, and that's like no shade to I feel like Jessie and her
No.
salon. But if you're just like not familiar with that hair type, just go somewhere else.
Right. Yeah, it really I was like, oh. But yeah,
But she
so it
keeps
bothered me.
But I follow her on TikTok, and obviously she's been getting so many comments about her hair and going somewhere. And she's like, "You guys don't understand that we like. No, I don't feel ready for braids yet because everybody's telling me to
Nobody
get braids."
you said you had to get braids. I'm
There
not
are
saying
people
that.
on
I need you to take care
people.
of the hair that you have.
No, I know people on TikTok are like get braids, but she's like, growing up in an all Caucasian like area,
Yeah.
I feel like conform, and I'm like, cry me a river. Just
Right.
say that's what you feel comfortable with. You don't have to. You're not conforming to anybody. Like,
Right,
just be
yeah.
like, I don't want to. Like, that's it.
And it's
Like,
fine. You don't have to. You just need
yeah.
to find somebody who can do your hair
Absolutely.
that knows how to work with your hair type. You can still have a blowout. You can still have I mean, my mom relaxed her hair for she doesn't anymore, but she's relaxed her hair for years and her hair looked like mine.
Yeah.
My mom has 4C hair just like my daughter. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah.
it's, you can do it. You just have to find somebody who can do it. Find a Dominican
Yeah.
salon. There has to be one in
Yes.
Utah. I
Yeah.
mean, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. But yeah. But she really bothered me. It pissed me off when she told Taylor, I got your back. And then she shut
then
up
said
through the whole
nothing.
thing. And then her eyes just got big when Taylor was like, well, this is what you said about me. This is what you know what I mean? And I'm like, girl, stand up. Like, just, I don't know. Like I said, this whole, like, they kept saying sisterhood and, like, we're here to empower each other. And there was no empowerment in any of that.
And her smoking the joint out of the
Of the woman's
burlesque.
vagina was,
Disgusting.
whoa,
Disgusting.
whoa.
Yeah. And also at the end, her going to meet with Marciano. Again, that was production.
And I have my thoughts on him. We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I have a thought. So then who's the next person you want to chit chat about? Because those were my two, like,
Personally-
lame ducks. I didn't like them. They were lame.
So, yes. Personally, what are your thoughts on Michaela?
Okay, so I did put, I thought, I wrote this down, unbelievably mean. Like, I
Okay,
think
so
she
she's
was
getting
so mean.
about Whitney, right?
Yeah, and it's like, and I don't know if we didn't see what Whitney did to her, but like when she was like, oh, she didn't tell me about times that they were taping, and I'm thinking to myself, and that makes you this mean about her? Like, just unbelievably mean. Like, I get Whitney's not a great person. She doesn't seem like, you know what I mean? Like, last season, she was not nice.
I didn't think she was not nice to Michaela.
She didn't do anything to Michaela. Yeah, that was my
Exactly.
thing. I was like, am I missing something?
So after I finished the season, like my TikTok, Michaela's a queen. Michaela's sticking up for herself.
Yes.
For
Oh, her
what?
boundaries. She's setting boundaries. I was like,
For
oh,
what?
What boundaries?
Listen, I get it. She's had the trauma, which I totally
Yes.
feel. But I think it was just like unnecessarily geared towards somebody when you can handle that within therapy, and they show that.
Yes.
But they're just the pettiness of like, well, I have to beat Whitney. Oh, if Whitney's doing sourdough, I'm going to do sourdough and I'm going to
Yes.
do it better. And I'm like, this is like high school shit. But then,
And I'm going to be honest, sourdough tastes the same no matter who it comes from. Let's just
Yeah.
all put that out there. It's sourdough.
but then you know what I realized, Jess? She's 24.
Yes. Okay. So I was going to say
That
that.
was
There are a
me
lot
when
of
I was
these
24,
girls-
probably.
Yeah, a lot of
You
these
know?
girls are 12 and they're
Literally.
very petty. And the one thing I do have to say that really bothers me, I felt so bad for her when she talked about being sexually assaulted and
Yeah.
and how it went on until she was 14, right? But then I thought
14
about
or
it, Alyssa.
16, yeah.
No, 14.
Was it 14?
She had her first child at 16.
At 16. Yes.
By a 21-year-old. So the way that I look at it, and people might look at it differently, is she never stopped being sexually assaulted because this man was a grown-ass man having sex with a 15-year-old because they said she had the baby at 16. So she was 15 when she got pregnant. So this 21-year-old was sleeping with a 15-year-old, got her pregnant. Her sexual assault never ended. She never healed from that sexual assault, and somebody else just took advantage of her.
Why did they not talk about it? They're talking about like
they don't talk about it because in the Mormon culture they go after young women, like their wives are young. True. You know what I mean? I'm gonna be honest. Brett's another one. I mean, ew. I didn't realize that the first time he met Demi, she was 9 and he was 25. It's fucking disgusting. I'm not saying that they did anything at that time.
Yeah, obviously.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's like no.
Yeah.
9 and 25, gross. Just it grossed me out. Like you knew her when she was 9 and you were 25. It's not like you knew her when she was 9 and you were 15. You know what I mean? Like, and then you guys got older. It grossed me out. But
I just thought, I just thought like Michaela was like just so mean for no reason, so petty, and it was just like, I don't know. It was so unnecessary, so uncalled for. And I'm really shocked.
Did you see the comment that her husband said?
No.
Did you catch so when they were when they were at the dinner, I guess, or whatever? And they made the comment about the Brett and Demi thing about cheating, and she was like, "Oh, I'm with him all the time, except for like 4 minutes." And
it only takes 3 seconds.
Michaela's husband goes, "Well, it only takes him 2 minutes." And I'm thinking to myself, "Sir, shut up!" Like I don't. There's nothing about him that I like, and I was like, "Ew."
Yeah. No, I'm like honestly, they can get rid of her too. I find no interest in her. I didn't last season, and I feel like she really tried to like bring it, and I'm really shocked with the way everybody online is like, oh my gosh, this is what we've been looking for. And when they have, like that filter on TikTok where you can like rank your favorite to your least favorite, she's always like, on the favorite.
I don't get it.
Like top 2 or 3, and I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm so glad that you agree with me, because I literally thought it was like, am I missing something, or is like okay.
As like when she first started and she was like, I don't like Whitney, this happened, I was like, okay, I get it. You don't have to like her. It's not a big deal.
But then she took it too far.
And then it progressed. And then when Whitney tried to meet with her.
Yeah.
And she was so hostile. And I was like, man, why? Like, Whitney's not coming at you in any kind of anger. Like,
yeah, I will say, like, I was watching that part, I think, like, on TV, and when my husband was around, and, like, literally, it was like, he was like, this is crazy. That girl, Michaela, is literally like, no, Whitney was literally like, what have I done? What can I do? And then Michaela's like, well, you're not taking any responsibility for X, Y, and Z. And she's like, okay, but like, let me. It was just like, so like, she was like Whitney was trying to do the right thing and trying to make things better. And Michaela was just like, no, you're being bad. Whitney's like, but I'm trying to help, like, I'm trying to make things better. Tell me what. And Michaela's like, no. It was just so crazy to watch. I was so confused, and I'm over her.
Yeah. Me too. Okay, let's talk about Jen.
Okay, so my favorite thing in this whole season was they don't know I'm from the hood, because that was my favorite part.
That was so cringy. I cringed, so I had like secondhand embarrassment when she said that. And he was like, "You're from Provo." She's like, "Yeah, but that's the hood." And I was like, she's like, "How about that?" And I was like, "Oh my God, please stop. Please stop." Wait. I was like, in my mind, I was like, "Please stop. Please stop."
Well, the thing that's so funny about that is I felt very relatable to that scene, because like there are so many times, like, I grew up in Patterson, but like I from like a very young age or whatever, and I have family there, and I've always gone there, but like I grew up in like Sussex County, New Jersey, a very like white neighbor. So like sometimes when like my Hispanic side comes out and I'm like, they don't know I'm from the hood, and my husband's like, you literally live in Vernon, and I'm like, yeah, I live in Vernon now, but I grew up in the hood. So I felt very relatable to that.
Yeah, but if you ever said that, I would have karate chopped you in the throat, because I was so cringy. It was so, but I do.
So funny. I
love her. I love her. And I love her because she's like 20. You know what I mean? Like, she's such a baby.
Also 20.
Even she's not even, her frontal lobe hasn't fully grown. Yeah. And she's a people pleaser, and I think that that's what the issue is. I don't think that she lied to lie, because I honestly don't think that everything she said was a lie. I honestly do feel that, I always want to call him Ben, and I know that's not his name.
That's so
it's
funny.
Affleck.
Yeah,
I want
that
to
is
call
so
him Ben,
funny.
and I know that's not his name. But
Zach.
Zach, I honestly believe he does gamble his family's money because who else's money is he gambling? He was a
Yeah.
med school student, so I'm pretty sure that I don't feel that she lied. I feel that because I remember first season. Remember his family went after her and was like she made him look bad. She made him do this. So I feel that she had to bring in the stuff that she said so that
Yeah.
way things could
That's
work
so
better for
true.
her family. I honestly do. I think that there were some white lies that she told, but I feel that a lot
I
of it
feel
was
like,
true. And
yeah,
she is trying because she's trying to fix her family and his family, like she said, she grew up poor. He didn't. I think in
yeah,
order for their family to help support them, she had to go back on some of it. And that's just a belief that I have. There's no proof, but I just
yeah,
feel like I feel like in season 1 she was telling the truth, and in season 2 she's just trying to clean up so that she could fix her marriage and she could
yeah.
stay friends with them.
I mean, honestly, I don't know if I don't. I mean, that could be true. I don't know if I would believe that, like, without, like, I don't know if that's it. But either way, I don't have a problem with her. I feel like there's always going to be. She's obviously, like, clearly one really. She wants to remain friends with all these ladies, and yeah, she's going through a hard time. And like, yeah, sometimes you just do a little like, I ain't gonna tell him this. I'm not gonna
Right.
tell her. Just to keep the peace. And I think that's what
Right.
she's doing. And did it overlap? And she kind of found herself in a pickle. Yeah, but I just don't think it's like I felt like Demi and Jesse didn't have Jen's back in meeting with Zach with that,
Nope.
and I feel like Zach didn't have her back either.
No.
Like it
He
was just
tried.
like
He tried, but he was upset about what he said.
yeah,
You know.
yeah, and I just feel like it was just let it go. Like it's really like not your issue. I feel like
Right.
and she wasn't like doing anything
I
to
don't
like
think there was
hurt
any
anybody.
malice, and that's
Yes.
what
Yes.
the issue was. I don't think there was malice. I think Jesse and Demi were overly mean to her. I thought they were like, let the Chippendales thing go. I didn't think it was cute. I
Yeah.
didn't
No,
think
I
the
didn't.
dance was cute. I didn't. And the thing that bothered me, I think the thing that bothered me the most was she when she sent that video when they were in New Orleans about like her mental health not being good, and Demi was like, well, I just, and it's like, dude, I know you don't know the extent, but when people say like my mental health is not where it should be and
Yeah.
I can't do certain things, you just pray for them or say
Yeah.
something nice. I mean, it was like they didn't take her seriously, and I was like, this girl wanted to kill herself. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
you know what
Let's
I mean?
move
Like,
on to Demi next because I have thoughts. But wrapping up on Jen, I just think that she was like just got caught up in it, and like she was nervous maybe because I know Demi and Jesse mentioned like the Chippendales things before, but she was nervous and she was like, oh, in her mind she's probably like, oh, that would probably be really good for the show, and I don't want to mess that up, so I'm not going to tell
Right.
Zach, because then he's going to be like, no. But like it's all recorded, so she kind of like shot herself in the foot with that aspect of it. But like I get where she was coming from. She wanted to be good TV, and not hurt her husband. But like,
but in the thing, Demi only said in the recording,
Brett.
Demi only
Yeah.
said Brett. She didn't
Yeah.
say Jordan, and she didn't say a Chippendales dancer.
It
So
could
I
have
think
been cut
Zach
out.
would have been okay. It could have.
It could
It
have
could
been
have, but
cut
Taylor
out.
said, now I watched the whole thing. Taylor said that she watched the whole thing not cut, and Demi never brought it up.
Yeah.
But the thing is that if it was just Brett, I think Zach would have been fine with it. I honestly do. I think
Yeah.
it would have been, if it was brought to her that it was like, my husband is coming out and he's going to take off his clothes and have a Chippendale outfit, I think Zach would have been okay with that because they're friends. They're all friends.
Yeah, but my thing is like, why did that even need to happen? I think that was
didn't.
a really dumb idea. It was like,
And
it hurt. I thought that it was funny when they went to Chippendale themselves, the two of them.
Yes.
That should have been like, if they wanted to do something funny, Demi and Jesse should have been like, we booked you something, and have them go to the actual Chippendale thing where it's not put on this whole thing at the party in front of everybody and making them seem uncomfortable. Like I
Yeah.
feel like it could have been handled differently. Now moving to Demi. Mm-hmm. She did not have a great season this season.
I have strong
But
opinions.
I was riding out for my girl until episode 9 when Jen sent the video. That's when she actually lost me because I was on her side. I was sticking through it. I'm like, well, trying to play devil's advocate. But until she had zero remorse for Jen, who's literally crying, and like the thing that it was so like two-faced and hypocritical because she's crying over the fact that she can't get pregnant, and now Jen is pregnant and she's going through a hard time, and you're not going to have compassion for her. I think it's just, that's like, I literally said if she says something negative about Jen in this moment, I cannot stick by her on this. But I felt like there was a lot of other things that were very anger driven, and I think it's because of the fertility thing. I mean, you remember when I was trying to get pregnant with my son, and then like our old boss got pregnant, and while I was happy for her, I was so mad. I was so angry. I'm like, why not me? Why not? And I couldn't imagine doing that for 4 years. And you know, I know a lot of moms now, and they're going through IVF and just infertility. They try for like 10 years, some of these moms, to get pregnant. And like I just have such a soft spot, and I think that's why I was like riding for Demi. But she lost me on the Jen thing. I'm not even gonna lie, I was sticking by her side with the whole thing with Chase when he
I was not.
Like, I'm not the kind. My issue with that was that did he put his hands on her? He probably placed them or just touched her. But
He touched her like that.
What was the intent though? Not nice. It wasn't nice. It wasn't nice intent.
It wasn't nice, but it wasn't abuse. It wasn't like I have to call my husband here and ask and tell him that.
I would have said something. I would have said something to my husband if just the intent was like, don't touch me in a rude way, because that's how I took it. I would have been like, don't lay your hands on me when you didn't hurt me, but your intent was not nice. You're not like, have a good night. Or it was just like, where's your husband, trying to be like, you know, like one of those. That I was riding for her on. I was. And I would do that too. I would be like, I would run to tell my husband, be like, granted, should Brett have asked some questions before running?
Yeah.
Yes. But like, I mean, she said it, you know, that's my man. I would have done the same.
I mean, yeah.
I would have done the same thing. Yeah, I would have been like, absolutely not. Do not touch. And like, you can't really see with the cut of the angle. But, and that's what, like, for me, like, as a friend, all of these people are now on, you know, press tours. And they're like, but did he touch you? It doesn't matter. Nobody can argue with the fact that the intent was not malicious.
Right. Yes, you are correct there.
So what? Yeah, maybe Brett should have asked him like more questions or whatever. But like, if she felt uncomfortable, if I felt uncomfortable, I felt uncomfortable. You can't tell me, yes, I was wrong. I was wrong for feeling uncomfortable.
That's true. Yeah.
That's how I feel about it.
You're right. The intent and the way she felt was how she felt.
Yeah.
I thought it was a little dramatic, but in my mind, it was dramatic because, like I said, she was my favorite. I'm going to be honest. Last year, she was my favorite. I loved her. I was like, she is the best. I like her. And then the first episode, when they bring in Miranda, and she made the comment, well, I want to find out about the swinging thing, because if Taylor's lying, then...
Yeah. What
and I was like,
thing with Taylor this whole season?
I was like, why is she trying to bring her down? So then I was like, my little spidey senses went up, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna just kind of figure, because remember, like I said it in our first episode when we were talking about it. I didn't want to like Taylor, and Taylor was like, is my favorite, and like I said, nobody can make me hate Taylor. So when she made that comment in the first, I was like, oh, this is gonna get ugly, and I don't know what it is about Taylor that she because that was the first thing out of her mouth was, if Taylor's lying. When do we know Taylor to lie? Taylor is abundantly a little bit too honest for us. Yeah. Like, sometimes I'm like, ma'am, keep that to yourself. It really, how she treated Jesse. Like, when I found out the comments about, like, when they did, like...
The money.
The money thing, and she's like, well, Jesse does hair. Okay, ma'am, we can't have two streams of income. Like, she's supposed to be your best friend.
Yeah, that was
like,
crazy.
You ride for your best friend. You're like, oh, but because she has a hair thing, she doesn't need the money? Like, that's crazy. Yeah. I did feel bad. I do have to say, I did feel bad listening about the IVF treatment.
Yeah.
I have a whole topic about IVF after this, but I'm just like a whole question about it. Like, I did put that the Chase thing rubbed me the wrong way, because I didn't think it was an offense to get your husband. I thought it was like, don't ever touch me again. And then if he touched you again, maybe go get your husband. Because I didn't think it was a big deal. Like, the way that they showed him, like, because they showed him touch her, and it was like 2 fingers, and I was like, okay.
It didn't look bad.
Right. But then when you said the intent thing, I was like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
So that bothered me.
And it was probably just like dramatized too. She's like, oh, he just touched me. I feel uncomfortable. The intent was malicious, so I'm going to play it up for the cameras, which I get.
Right.
But like at the end of the day, the intent was malicious.
Right. My issue with her was probably it would definitely, she was definitely on my shit list after the comments for Jen. But the issue that I had was the way she talked to Taylor's mom. Even though Taylor's mom was 100% in the wrong for showing up at the party. Again, we talked about it just with gentle parenting. You don't talk to your elders that way. Like, that's just not the way to do it. You know what I mean? Like,
I thought she was okay until she started like cursing at her.
Yeah, that's
like
what I'm saying.
that was
like,
a big no. I felt like what she was saying until she was like, tell her to like go be a mother or whatever.
Right.
I was like, just stop. Like there was a part in the beginning where I was like, okay, you're good. Just
and as
stop.
somebody
just stop.
who hits below the belt, there would have been some mean things that I would have said today.
Yeah.
I'd be like,
like fix your lipstick. Like literally her lipstick was
fix your lipstick. Don't be mad because I got pregnant. Like I would hit below the belt. Like when she started doing like when she called Taylor disgusting to her face, she was like, she's a disgusting person. And I'm thinking to myself, bitch, are you serious? Like,
that was really,
to
that's
me,
not a
Taylor
friend.
Was so like her staying calm and just staring at her in that situation, because I would have been below the belt. I would have talked to, I would have been like, and this is why you can't get pregnant, because you're an ugly person. I might be disgusting, but you're ugly and God doesn't want to give you any kids. I would have, that's where I would have went, because in my mind, that's where I was thinking. I was like, Taylor, just say it. Just say it. And it would have hurt feelings, and things would have, it would have really ended friendships, because that's how I am with people. Like I hit below the belt when I get angry, and I just thought she was so mean, and there was no reason to be this way.
I think she was just
she wanted
angry.
to be Queen Bee.
Yeah, I think she was just angry with the whole, Taylor basically got pregnant on accident,
Yes.
And she was like, what? Like and obviously we know how she feels about her. And she's like, oh, she can get pregnant. And I think it's like that anger from the infertility, which I understand. But the thing about Jessie, like, I don't know. It just, it didn't sit with me the wrong way. But I feel like, was it being over dramatized? Because Jessie forgave her. Her like, over nothing. So I was like, wait,
I don't
what's
know
the
that
full story?
I'm going to be honest. I don't
Jessie
think that I
shouldn't
would be able to forget. No, Jessie was, I was like, are you kidding me?
But that's what I'm saying. Why did Jessie forgive her? Was it dramatized for us?
It could
But that's my question. It was like, because I was like, there's no way. Well, there's no way that a true friend could be like, kick this person off because she already has a business, but then also be like, okay, that didn't work out in my favor, but you're still going to be my best friend. I was like, there's a disconnect here.
There's something, sort.
So I was a little confused by that. But my thing is like, why was she so hung up on Taylor? Like, I get that Taylor does like questionable things, but that's in her life, because really it doesn't affect them. If anything, it affects them for the better, because the more people talk about Taylor, the whole reason they have the show is because of Taylor. So like, I feel
swung.
Like, yes,
that's the only reason we watched this.
And even when they were like doing the whole pilot for the first season, it's like they stopped. The show was like not going to come out after she got arrested, and then so like if that never happened, like, or something with Taylor never happened, the show would not exist. So it's like, you gotta remember that. It's like, and it's kind of like what Macy kind of mentioned, like, well, if Taylor just keeps moving up and bringing us up, we'll kind of all like get everything. We can all do brand deals. We can all get more money. We can all get this because Taylor's just bringing us up with her. And that, like, what's the, and like, if it gets too much, then you're like, okay, peace out. Like, I'm done with you because, but like, she has done nothing so far. I thought that was,
nope.
Crazy.
So let's move on to Jessie. What do you think of Jessie?
Honestly, I thought she was super messy for inviting all those people to the thing.
Yes.
The Halloween party, the Chippendale thing. I'm honestly surprised she's not getting more heat with Demi about all this, because she also played a part in saying that Jen was like lying to Zach and everything. But because I guess Demi is going after Taylor and Jessie's not getting a slap on the wrist at all. So
Nope.
I don't know. I kind of like feel she's just an instigator this whole
She is. And
season.
the thing that bothers me is she's the oldest of the group. Like, ma'am, I
Yes.
need you to grow up. I need you to
Yeah.
grow up. You are in your 30s. We don't need to be messy at 32.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that she was a mean girl until the tables turned on her. And then all of a sudden she wanted to be, all of a sudden she was like, oh, I do feel for Jen.
Yeah.
She, like when Jen sent the thing, she was like, oh, I feel for her. And all I want is for somebody to just say they're sorry. And it was kind of like, even when Taylor was like, and Jesse was like, she said sorry. The other thing that I thought was funny was, going back to Demi, was they wanted to vote on, they were voting on Whitney. And then when Taylor was like, well, Demi's a no, and she's like, we're not voting. And I'm like, ma'am, you literally at a dinner without Taylor tried to vote her out.
Yeah,
Like, tried to
I
get all
know.
the girls against her to vote her out. And I was like,
Yeah.
that's weird. But yeah, but Jen, I don't know how I feel about her.
Jen
I
or
know
Jessie?
Jessie, I think she was messy. I think her and Demi were like mean girls together, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see. Season 3, I feel like, is going to be like this whole thing about Jessie and her husband and the Mercutio,
Oh, yeah.
Maurizio, whatever his name is. What's his name?
Marciano.
Marciano.
It's really hard.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard
Yeah.
to pronounce.
Mercutio is from Shakespeare. So yeah.
Let's
so
move to
okay.
Macy.
Okay. What do you think?
I love her. If anybody's going to take Taylor down, it should be her. She's the
think
next
so?
mom talk queen. Yeah. I think she's so just chill. She's not really trying to stir up drama, but she holds her own. Like, she has her opinions.
She
and
stirs it though. She stirs the drama. Yeah.
Does she?
I think so. So I really liked her. I like her. I think she's probably one of my favorites. One, because like you said, she just lays back. She's honest with her opinion. She tells people how she feels, and then she lays back. However, I don't trust her at all. I think the only friend that only person she's really a friend to is Michaela. I think that they are the only friends, and they have each other's back, but I don't think that they have anybody else's back. I think they just have
See, I
each
feel
other.
like she has Taylor's back.
Sometimes.
I feel.
Because
I did.
honestly, the sinners thing is what bothered me. When she talked about the sinner, like the Sinner Sunday where they talked about Demi's husband.
Yes.
She said it
Yeah.
to them, knowing
Yeah.
that Taylor would be the one to bring it back.
Yeah.
And then when Taylor brought it up, she said nothing.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I forgot.
And then the other thing I have a question about is her first boyfriend that died. Right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't talk about it on the show, but she talks about it on her TikToks and stuff like that.
They talked about it in the show now.
Well, no. I mean, but she said that her relationship, she was in an abusive and controlling relationship.
Oh, that was.
Was that with the
previous-
guy? Was that the guy that got into the car accident?
I don't think so, but it
Okay,
could
that's
have
where I
been.
wanted to know, because I was like, is this the same guy? Because like she's like bawling, and then the mom is involved, and then I'm like, well, did he beat you? So I didn't know about that. Okay.
Oh no, I don't think it was, but I'm glad that they touched on that because I thought that was
Yes.
a really interesting fact from like last season after it ended, and I was like, how is somebody talking about this? And I'm really happy for her that she is writing a book because she was
Yes.
like a D1 athlete, and then things like that.
Then she got pregnant, and then she went back to being a D1 athlete, which I
Yeah.
think is awesome. I don't like that she stands up for people, but then she stays quiet a lot of the time, and that bothers me. Like I said, I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know if maybe I'm overly protective of my friends, but if I consider you a friend, I'm not going to let. Like, I feel like I said, when Demi said, you're disgusting, how can it? Not one person stood up for her and said, she's not disgusting. Why are you saying that?
that's true.
Not one person said that. And if anybody, I would have thought it would have been Macy, because Macy
Yeah.
seems like she treats people nicely. Like, she doesn't, like, Macy, out of all of them, seems like she really wants Mom Talk to be
What it was
empowering
meant to
and
be. Yeah.
lifting. But it's like nobody stood up for that. Like, not one
Yeah.
person was sisterly and stood up for that.
Yeah.
So, but I like her.
I like her.
But-
I think she's also just trying to like listen because they're all her friends, and it's not like
Yes.
she's just like how I would always have your back if anybody says anything different. Like, they're all her friends, so I think she's like, well, let me hear everybody out, kind of deal. And then when she has like her opinion, when it's time to be like, well, what does everybody think? She's like, well, I don't have a problem with this.
Right.
Like, I don't have a problem with that. I was surprised that Taylor was the only person to vote Whitney back in first time.
Yeah.
Like, first round. And moving on to Whitney, I think I'm becoming a fan. I kind of like her.
Okay, so I like her as a person. Like, I like her.
Yeah.
I think she's funny.
I think she's funny, and
didn't-
that's what gets me.
Yeah, I think she's funny. I thought her husband, what he said to Taylor, really like, gave me the feels when he was like, you know, I wish I had a second chance, and like, you don't owe anybody a second chance, but let me tell you, like, I thought that was like so sweet, and I was
Yeah.
like, he's probably such a good husband, even though he might be a little,
Yeah.
might be a little, you know. To each their own, I don't judge. But he might be that way. But he loves her and he loves his family. And
Yeah.
I thought he was very sweet. I didn't like that she turned on Taylor after Taylor was the only person who voted
agree.
her in. And when Taylor called it out, she was like, you said no. You kicked her when she was down. She goes, I didn't even like her, and I voted her because I believe people should have a second chance. And Whitney still kind of like talked shit about Taylor. And I was like, ma'am, like, shh.
Yeah. I was
Her
surprised
dress
Whitney's...
at the Christmas party thing drove me up a wall. What the fuck was that bow?
The-
That was on the blue dress? I was
yeah.
like, ma'am, do not.
Yeah.
Do not.
I don't know why Whitney is going to, like, on Demi's side. Maybe to have, like,
Yeah,
two
they're like
villains.
BFFs now. Yeah.
Yeah. But, I don't know. It seems like, honestly, as of, like, last night, it seems like Demi and Jesse made up. Seems like everybody's good now so far. I don't know
Yeah.
about Taylor and Demi. But, I mean, like, that's just, like, inevitable. I feel like there were some things, obviously, that Demi said, like, she's disgusting. But, like, as far as Whitney goes, I don't think she said
No.
anything that was, like,
No, she just
to,
said,
like,
do I think Taylor's a narcissist? Yeah. And I'm like, oh,
and that,
well, I get it.
you know, yeah. And moving on to Taylor, the queen.
Okay, I just love her. I love her and all her chaos.
She's
I do have
so
to say,
entertaining to watch.
she is. She's a hot mess, and I love everything about it. I really do. Like,
100%.
she's my favorite. So I have to tell you. So I was watching the first episode, and my husband came in the room, and it was literally as she was telling her parents, what she was going to be for Halloween, and he was like, "Oh, is it going to be a slutty whatever?"
Yeah.
And my husband was like, "Is that her father?" And I was
Yeah.
I was like, "Yeah," and he was like, "Did he just ask her if she was going to be a slut?" And I was like, "Well, yeah," and he was like, "What are you watching?" And I was like,
Mormons,
I'm not
you know?
I was like, Mormons. And that's what I said, because he knows I am fascinated with everything Mormon. So he just rolled his eyes. And then when her dad said what he said to her,
The
my heart
sentence
broke
said
for
around.
her.
My heart broke when
Broke.
when she responded and you heard her voice crack.
Yes,
That's
and she
what I'm
said,
saying.
I know I'm
was
trash.
trash. Oh,
I'm like, but this is why she feels that way. If this is how the dad talks to her, this is why she feels that way. And I'm just like I want to be like, baby, you need a therapist and you need to stay away from your family for a little bit. Like, your sister was the only one talking some kind of sense.
yeah.
to
Her
you,
brother,
because
quiet.
misogynist. They're just
Yes.
men. Like, they're just, and to say it, and you know what pissed me off the most is when her dad made that comment. I don't know if you saw it, but they like panned to Dakota and he kind of had like a smile on his face, like haha,
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of thing. That pissed me off. I hate Dakota with a passion. I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate his little crocodile tears. I hate everything about him. I want to slap her every time she says she had sex with him, because I wanted to be like, girl, stop. First of all, you're gorgeous. You could sleep with
Yeah.
anybody, and it could not be
Yeah.
Dakota.
The only time that Taylor did get on my nerves is the way she was arguing with Chase and Dakota at the party. I was like, girl,
Yeah.
be a little smarter about this. You're in the right here, girl. Like,
Right.
you can argue
Yes.
this better. Like, I don't know if there was maybe some drinks involved, even though they're Mormons, or, you know, like, I don't know. Jesse
Well, she
held the
drinks,
party, and
so.
yeah, so that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe it's like, I was like, you can handle this. You can argue this so much better and prove
Right.
him wrong and do the right thing. And she just didn't. And I was like, oh, you know, like,
She
that
didn't.
was that. The way she, like, even argues with Demi, like, go ahead, tell me. Oh, like, I can't
Right.
deal with that. Like, it drives me crazy. But I'm like, I love to see it. But, like,
I do too. The fact that she can stay so calm, so collect, when people are just screaming at her. Like when Debbie was going, and then I thought the best was when Demi tried with that. Like, she did her little crocodile tear thing, which was like, I am loyal to every single one of you. And Taylor was like, feel that way, there's the door. And then she just stopped crying and changed her whole tune. I
Yeah.
was like, ma'am.
Yeah.
I was like, oh. But yeah, Taylor, I love her. I can't wait for, she already has new drama. She posted something just recently, and I
Oh,
was like,
yes.
I think it's about Jenna. I think it's Jenna.
But apparently Jenna, she said that this girl like deleted all her social media and Jenna did not. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. I'm very interested.
Like I said, her parents, I'm like, this is the reason Taylor is the way she is, because her parents are not stable people. And like I said, I understand that they're Mormon and the whole like divorce thing, but I don't think I would ever be able to give my child the advice, you had a child with him, so you need to work it out. That is never good for the kids. Like, it doesn't matter what kind of religion you are. If you're not healthy, it's not healthy. Like,
yeah.
You don't want your children in a toxic relationship. Like, you just don't want something that's unhealthy.
Especially when she says, I can't get over this. Like, okay, so walk away then. Like, why are you telling her to stay?
Right.
It was crazy. It was absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to the whole
Marciano.
What did you call
Marciano. I called him
Marciano drama.
I'm going to be honest. I saw bits and pieces of the Vanderpump because I haven't watched the whole thing yet. Mm-hmm. I don't think that Jesse messed around with him. I think he's lying. I think that Demi messed around with him. And I think that Demi realized that people were going to talk. So I think her and Brett paid him to say it's Jesse. That's my feeling. Because he was too giddy to talk about it. And if you watch Vanderpump Rules, he flirts with Jesse a little bit, but he loved Demi. Like, I feel that Demi crossed the line. I'm going to say, I know you find Brett to be attractive, but I don't think he's a catch. I don't think he has a job.
I did hear that.
I don't think that, he's like 50-something years old. If you don't have a job, his other wife was on, did you know that his other wife was Salt Lake City? I didn't know that. I just found that out.
No, I knew that.
He was on The Bachelor. You just want to be famous. Like, I don't feel like... So I feel like maybe
Demi is actually the one, her and her ex-husband submitted him to The Bachelor.
Yes, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
So, which again, weird. But yeah, so I don't think he's the catch that everybody makes him out to be. So I think that's my thought process, and I think that it'll come out.
I just think that she maybe was like just going through this whole infertility thing, and she's like, whatever. But do you think there's any validity behind the whole cheating thing on Brett's end?
I do.
You do? So I don't know if you've been watching all the press, but apparently there was like a rumor going on. Michaela said that like at the end of season 1 or something, they were like, and Demi was like, oh, we should like come up with something that like
where she has on Dakota. With Dakota. Yeah. So I heard a thing that it was Demi that submitted the thing to Sunday Sinners. So then I was like,
maybe it's not true.
Maybe it's not true. I just, like I said, I don't know, and I feel bad, and I honestly don't think, I'm going to be honest, I don't think she slept with Marciano. Just like I don't think Jesse slept with Marciano. I think maybe she crossed the line. Maybe there was a little too much flirting. Maybe they kissed or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I do think that, but something happened. Something happened with somebody because, like I said, I know that they're filming season 3 of Secret Lives, and Jessie hasn't been wearing her wedding ring. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. Like, maybe it was her, but...
Yeah. So I didn't watch Vanderpump Villa, and I don't know, that guy, why can't I say... He's so ugly. He's like, he gives me like...
I'm not gonna lie. When she first invited him over, I thought he was gay. And I was like, oh, they're just gonna have like a girl sesh, and he's gonna give her the deets of what happened. I didn't realize he was the guy that... They said that they both mess with, and I was like, he was just too giddy.
The way he talked to Layla too, like, oh, you look hot, blah blah. I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
Like, and you knew she was like,
it's like a creeper.
Yeah. Like, honestly though, like, I wouldn't be surprised if like Layla slept with him too. Like, I just wouldn't, because she also slept with Chase. Yeah. So it's like Taylor, Miranda, that girl Kate, like Layla, like, but whatever. But I was like, I don't know if I believe him, or I don't know if I necessarily believe that he, like, Demi paid him off. Maybe he was like, I'm being pulled into this, and Demi was like, just don't, or like,
right.
I don't know. And he really likes her, so he just lied for her. But he also, maybe he played it up though, because like he wants to be kept in the loop too. He's also on a first season show. He's a nobody. He probably wants to get airtime and a storyline he wants all of that too. So it honestly may just be for like personal greed at that point. Yeah, in his end. So I really don't know. I I didn't try to stay off TikTok, so I didn't know about the whole. I knew there was one thing about the Vanderpump Villa and Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and then I heard it was Demi, but I had zero idea that Jesse was involved. And even when they were doing the truth box, and they were like, "Oh, was it really Jesse banging out with Tom, like at Tom Tom or whatever?" And I was like, "What? Like what?"
Yeah. I can't
But
see
now
it
she's
being
on the rocks with Jordan, so I'm like, maybe.
Yeah, but I heard it was something Jordan did because I saw an interview and it was on the Vial files.
Oh yes, I didn't listen to the whole thing. He's pumping him out, Nick Viall.
He
with,
is.
With
He's
all
got
of them.
all of them there.
Yeah.
But she asked the girl on the Vial files, because I don't watch them, so I didn't know anything about it. But she said, "Is Jordan somebody you would want your daughter to date?" And she said, "Absolutely not." And to me, okay, so he had to do something. Now, I don't know if it's eye for eye or, maybe something happened. Like I said, I don't know what happened, but they pretty much said that Jordan was going to be like the villain husband next is
season.
like what's going on. So, yeah, but we don't know what's going on because nobody could talk about it. And they don't like really drop. I have to be honest, like this is like you don't hear about anything until the season comes out. Like, you know what I mean? Like we didn't hear anything about any of this stuff until the season came out. So if Jordan did something sketchy, we haven't heard it.
I heard that this season 3 will be coming in September, and God, I hope so. I hope so. I need them to like make like more seasons quicker. I can't
But
get
I
enough.
also need them to like take a page from Bravo's book and do a reunion. Like if you're not going to come out until next year, like I need a reunion. I need a reunion. I need to know what's been going on. I need to know how you guys mended stuff. Like I need to know that. And I feel like that's what they're missing. We can do a reunion.
That's so true. They need a reunion.
Yeah,
That's
because But what
Listen
I
up,
wanted to ask
Hulu.
you, I know, do a reunion show or like right now, so we could
Yeah.
find out the deets. It doesn't have to be anything. We could just strictly ask about season 2.
Yeah.
The one thing I wanted to say, and I don't know if this is, but it was weird that so many of the girls who are young are having fertility issues.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, Demi is 30. If she's been
30.
trying for years, she's 26. I don't
So
understand. I don't know if
it wasn't
something's
on her
going on.
end. It wasn't on her end. I don't.
Well, no,
believe.
it is a little bit because they said she had endometriosis and he
okay.
has like a varicose vein thing that was right. Well, because he's old, he has
Yeah.
old balls. So come on, it's like you know what I mean. Like he's 50. But I just find it weird. Like Macy, again, not young. She's a healthy like D1 athlete. I just find it weird. And I'm saying this on a whole. I know people who are going through IVF treatments and stuff like that, but I feel like it's happening much younger. And it's like, is it something we're eating? Is it something like, I just don't understand how these healthy people, again, Demi's a little bit different because her husband's older. So I, you know what I mean? Like,
I do think it's in things that we're eating.
it's got something because there's no reason that people in their 20s should need IVF. You know what I mean?
And I also think like birth control.
Yeah.
People being on birth control is another thing that's like messing,
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. Because as I'm watching it, I'm like,
I don't know if
Macy needed IVF.
do Mormons
Like-
like go on birth control?
I don't think they do.
Well, I
I
literally
mean,
just
we found out Jen had an
Yeah.
IUD for her second child.
yeah.
So I thought, when I first saw the clip on YouTube, they made it seem like Jen got her IUD removed when her and Zach like broke up when they were on their, but it was for their second kid that she had the IUD removed. It wasn't the surprise baby that they just had. I think he did it. I think he did it to keep her. In my mind, that's how it happened.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of coming around on him.
No,
hate
I'm
to say
not.
that.
I
don't
feel
know
like
why.
I think he's still very red flaggy. I think he's just trying to make himself look good. I don't.
Yeah, he's hiding it. Maybe well.
Yeah. I don't think he's as crazy as she made him out to be, but I definitely think he's not a nice. I don't think he's nice to her because I think he wants to control her. And I think
Those
that's
texts
where it
don't
is.
lie. That
Yeah.
came out last season. That's rude.
Yeah, and that was
And
ugly.
he even said those were not meant to be read by anybody else.
Right. So that means that I stand by what I did. Mm-hmm. They just weren't supposed to get out.
Exactly.
So to me, that was, I will never come around to him. Like I said, out of everybody, Macy and Whitney's husband are my favorite guys on the show.
Whitney's husband is like, no, I'm sorry, Macy's husband. So
Did you see him holding Taylor's baby during the thing? Like during he was holding Taylor's baby during the, like when they were tasting
Christmas?
the food. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And it
No,
was
he
just like,
just seems so
so sweet. He just
yeah,
seems so sweet, and he loves her so much, and I
drama
love that for her.
free. Drama free.
Yes.
That's what I meant. Yeah.
Jordan seems okay. Like, I'm mad because I really liked Jordan. I really
Take
did. I
accountability.
Yeah. It's like, dude, calm down. But I liked him. I thought he was nice. I do think, though, I did think that when Zach talked to both Brett and
Yes. Jordan.
when he went and talked to them, I thought, you know what, you guys are a little bit, a little bit, you guys have to be like whipped or something, because there is no way that if a man came up to like one of our husbands and was like, hey, where, I thought we were friends. You could have at least told me what was up, or you didn't have to do that because we are friends and we hang out. Like, they didn't seem like they were like, oh, well, we thought it was like, in what world would men think that that was fine? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, first of all, my husband would never do that.
No,
Just
my
off
husband
principle, he would
never.
never dress up as a Chippendale dancer and dance on somebody else's wife. Like, he just, that's
I
not
don't even
something
think my
he would do.
husband would do that and dance on me.
Me neither. I was trying to make, yeah, no, my husband wouldn't either. Yeah, my
He's not
husband would
like
be like,
that. It's
I'm
just
not
not
taking
him.
off my shirt in front of a full party of people and grinding on you. I'm not doing that. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
with her husband standing right there. I think
Right.
that's what, like, I mean, maybe
Yeah.
the husband not there would have been worse, but like, nonetheless, that was such a bad idea.
It was cringy. It was like, God, here we go. And I don't know. Like I said,
It
I
would have
just,
been
but
better if Zach was sitting in the seat rather than Jen.
yes,
That would have been funnier.
yes, if they did it to Zach.
To
If
him,
they,
yes.
yes. And had Jen watch. That would have
Yes.
been funny. Like,
Yeah,
I
that
think
would have been better.
that would have been
Yeah.
10 times better. I still can't get over I forgot about it until you brought it up, but the
Ben
weed out of
Affleck?
the vagina. No,
Yeah.
the weed out of the vagina. Yeah, and that was messy too. That Jesse was dressed as Jennifer Lopez.
I
and,
agree. I didn't like that. I
Yeah.
didn't like that. I didn't
And
like
I
that how
thought Jen
Jesse's
looked.
ended.
Yeah, I didn't like that. I did like the dress though. I was like, oh, that's cute. It's
I like the
oh.
way Jen looked better.
Me too. Me too. With her little. Oh, she was so cute. Like I said, I like Jen, and I always just try to remind myself, like, she's a baby. Like, her frontal lobe has not yet finished growing, and she's still learning. You know what I mean? Like, I
Yeah.
just. But yeah, Jessie bothered me the most because she's the oldest, and I feel like at some point we draw the line, like, and we
Yeah.
say this is not okay.
Yeah, it was just messy, but I'm so excited for season 3. Like, I literally can't get enough.
I can't wait.
I'm curious. I do hope. I mean, there are some things, like I said, that Demi just said, and I was like, but I do hope she can make a comeback and kind of, like, honestly, let's call out Michaela for being a mean girl. Let's call out Layla for
Yes.
not sticking up for her friends. I mean, at least Demi is saying things, the wrong things, but at least she's saying
Right.
things, you know? Like, I
Yeah.
feel like we need to start, and Miranda needs
But I
to kick it
also
up a notch
feel-
either.
I did feel that what Taylor said was 100% correct when she made the comment about, like, you wouldn't be here if I didn't bare my soul to, like, everybody. Because honestly, without Demi just being mean, she didn't have a story. We don't know anything about her. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like,
Yeah.
she came up a little bit about the infertility. Okay, she told us a little bit. But we know nothing about her.
Yeah.
Like,
Because
we
did
don't
you see
know
those
anything.
pictures of her? That's why.
Yeah.
Before.
That you're not ugly, you just don't have money. You're just poor.
You're just broke.
You're just broke because her before is a whole totally different person.
Yeah.
Like
crazy.
Taylor, you could tell Taylor gets her lips
Lip
done,
filler,
but Taylor
yeah.
looked the same.
Yeah.
Like, she looked exactly the same, but Demi
Yeah.
looked like a whole different person.
Yeah.
And Jessie looked different too when she was,
Yeah.
you know what I
And
mean?
I thought Macy looked different, but only because she had a spray tan. Like, I did, like, obviously,
Yeah.
I've never had a spray tan before, but like, I'm
We don't need
amazed. We do not need spray tan.
We do
But
not
I'm
need-
amazed that a spray tan could help that much. I was shocked. I was
Right.
like, oh, maybe in the winter
Yeah.
I should get a spray tan or something. Even Miranda, I'm sure, because she can tell she's pretty tan.
Yeah.
I was like, I bet she, looks better with the spray tan. Not saying she'll look bad without, but yeah, I'm excited for next season. And like I said, I really hope this releases like Labor Day weekend. Actually, maybe not. That's my
that'd be
son's
so
birthday. The weekend after.
Right after.
Right after. Yeah. Let me, because I literally had to pace myself so I could remember it. but I could have watched it in like 2 days easily. It was so good.
Well, the thing was, I didn't realize that they were going to release it
Release
all at
them all at
once. I thought it
once.
was going to be like, because like when I came back, I was like, yes, I'll watch because we were in Costa
Yeah,
Rica,
yeah.
so I was like, I'll watch the first two that I missed, and it was like 9 or 10 or however many,
10,
and I was
yeah,
like,
all of
what?
them.
I was like,
I
what?
know.
I can't do this. I have graduation, so I was like
I
trying to
know.
like watch them,
How
like
do
I
you
would like
feel
fold
though?
clothes.
How do you
I mean, it
feel
was
about them?
wonderful.
Yeah, it was good that I thought,
It was
like,
good.
could I,
I would have been pissed if I had to wait week to week.
yeah, maybe like you know what they should have done is release these 10 episodes, give us a month, and then release 10 more. That would have been better.
Or do 5 and 5, like
Yeah, I would
release
have been good with
five
5 and 5,
and then
but
release
I want
five
more
the
now.
next month.
Now
But yeah, me too.
I'm like, give me more. Like, I
I
need
know.
it. I'm
Like I'm
so
addicted. Like
obsessed.
yeah, it's so funny because of my obsession. Like my TikTok is full of just Secret Lives things, and I was like, okay,
Yes.
I need to relax and calm down because I don't need to know everything now. Because now
Yeah.
it's just like reiterating what happened, and I don't need that. I don't need
Yeah.
breakdowns of what everybody thinks. But like you said, it really did bother me all the people who really like Michaela.
Yeah. I'm
That
literally
really
so glad you're on the
like
same page as me because I was
not that I
shocked.
don't like her because
She
I
was just being
honestly
petty and mean for no
yeah,
reason.
like the meanness. I didn't like it in it when everybody's like, "Oh, she was setting boundaries." No, that's not a boundary. Being
No.
mean isn't a boundary. If you don't
It's
like her,
gentle
you don't like her.
parenting.
Right, yeah. That's
Literally.
not. That's not what you're doing. Yeah, but I'm happy Whitney's back because I
Me
really like I
too.
said, I like her.
I liked her too.
I think she's funny. My heart broke for her when they first voted her in, when they first said, like,
Or
and
no.
everybody was like, no. And Miranda was like, I don't know that I want to be in the group. She
Yeah.
like, Miranda was like,
I know. That was
so
rough for Whitney, but
it
she's in.
was. Yeah.
But my
And I
thing
think
is
it's
like,
crazy how they do it in front of her. Like,
I know, right?
take a vote and then tell
I
her.
know.
That
But
was
not
like,
for nothing.
did you see, remember in the Love on the Spectrum when Connor was like writing no in front of them?
Yeah, yeah, you
Like he
told me
was like,
about that.
No. And I'm like, that's kind of how it was.
But you know what? Unless they get kicked off the show which they're not going to do because obviously Whitney's a big part, and even now Demi is a big part. I don't know.
Right.
Demi can kind of go actually either way, but like Whitney, she's not getting off the show. So even though like technically this whole season she wasn't in Mom Talk, she was in Mom Talk.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
like
that's what it was. Yeah.
it
You
was
were
like
there the whole time.
yeah, and Miranda too. Oh, we don't know if we want to vote. She's in Mom Talk. Like she's
Right.
in this season. It is what it is. Like
Right.
it like they're like, oh, I don't know if we should vote her in, like making this like whole group like they're not sure, but she's involved in every single thing, both of them, everybody, you know.
Right. Yeah.
So
And I hope Jen comes back. Like, I
me
need her to come
too.
back healthy. And she seems healthier. She seems happier. She hasn't popped out the baby yet.
No,
But
do you think she really got served a cease and assist?
no. They said she didn't. They said it was just a threat. They said Demi threatened them. Yeah, when I watched, like I said, I've never listened to the bio files. I just watched the clips, but on the clips on YouTube, Zach said she threatened it. She threatened us with it, but she never actually she never went through with it. And then I
Gotcha.
think Jen was like, which means that it's true. It's kind
Yeah.
of like how Jen took it as like, yeah, if you're not actually doing it, it's because there's truth to what I'm saying.
Yeah, we'll see.
No,
But that
so
was a long episode. Do you have any
it really
plans
was.
this
No,
weekend?
this weekend. So on Saturday, I have my daughter's new student orientation, so we have to go to the college. But then I just want to rest. I just want to sleep.
You could
Like I
rest
just
over here in my house since you'll be close to me.
come over and hang out.
Yeah,
Come over and hang out.
it's funny.
It's funny because it's just me and her going because they wanted like you had to pay for another parent to go, and I was like, we're already paying.
I'm already
for
paying
you.
for school.
Right, yeah, you're gonna charge me $20 to bring a parent?
Wow.
I was like, no.
Okay.
So me and her are gonna go Saturday. I think it starts at like 9:30. So we run every weekend. I have to get up at the butt crack of dawn to run so that I could shower and be in Marietta by 9:30, which is gonna suck.
Yeah.
And then I just want to rest. Like that's all I want to
Yeah.
do. I want to rest. I just want to
I feel
sleep.
that.
I have to
Yeah.
watch. I have to catch up on some shows, but other than that. Nothing.
Yeah.
And how about you? Anything?
No, I don't really have anything going on. Chick-fil-A is doing like a mother-son date night on Saturday, and my husband was like, well, "You guys should go." And
You
then
should.
he turned around. He's like, because we were in the car, we passed the Chick-fil-A. That's how I saw it. And then he asked my son. He goes, "Do you want to go on a date night with mommy?" And he goes, "What's a date night?" And he told him, like, it's when you go to dinner, just the two of you. So do you want to go? And he goes, "No." Yeah, so I don't know if we're gonna go. My husband's
I would
like,
still go.
just take him, and I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
if you take them and then it's a thing, like,
yeah,
it could be a little tradition.
yeah.
Yeah,
So I think we may do
that's
that.
awesome.
Other than that, we're kind of just doing like little renovations at the house. When I was in Disney, I forgot to tell you, I came home, gone just for the day, and my husband repainted our half bathroom, a color I'm not really crazy about, but whatever. I was like, all right. And then I was like, hey, we really need
You
a
went
new.
downstairs?
Yeah,
Okay.
no reason. He just didn't like the color. He's been wanting to, and okay. And then I was like, hey, we really need a new dining room table. So we went to a couple stores. I literally don't like anything I see. That I'm looking for like one that has a leaf in it and stuff to make it bigger for when I host. I literally cannot find anything. And I'm like, we really need a table. We really need a table. I've literally been looking for a table since probably like April, and I just can't find anything I like. And then he redoes the bathroom. And then he's like, hey, I bought a new washer and dryer. I'm like, why? I need a new dining room table. And it's funny because the washer and dryer is the same color as the bathroom. But I do like it on the on the washer and dryer. So now we're redoing our whole laundry room. And I'm like, I need a dining room table.
You're like, you're missing the point.
So he did order one. It should be here like next weekend. It's not exactly what I wanted, but like I think it'll get the job done. So I'm like, whatever. And it's like a stone top instead of like a wood because the kids are just animals. So I was like, okay, I wanted wood, but I feel like for right now where we are in our
Until they
lives,
get a
like,
little older.
yeah, it makes sense. So we're just probably going to be doing home renovations. And then, I've been talking to my brother a lot more now,
About the wedding.
helping with wedding stuff and everything. I was so
That's
excited.
exciting.
Yeah,
Oh,
I gotta book our flights.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for him.
Yeah.
Even though I don't know him, I'm excited. I love weddings.
Yeah.
So next week I will have a story for you because I have my colonoscopy on the 4th.
Oh my
So-
gosh. Not the dreaded one.
the dreaded colonoscopy. So I actually have to talk to my boss because I'm going to have to work from home. I don't know if I told you, but
You gotta
they
clear
told
it
me
out.
that it's 2 days. But like you
Oh.
start eating you have to eat clear food like 2 days before. So I could eat literally eat Jello broth and sherbet ice cream. Like that is pretty much all I can eat for the first day. So I was like, I can't go to work. And I know that my boss is going to be like, why can't you go to work? But it's because I have no willpower and there's always junk food at work. And if
you
I
gotta
could
have
only eat
willpower.
Jello, I don't, Alyssa. So that's why I have to be at home. So I could just make my Jello, I could eat my sherbet, and I could drink my broth. Like I can't even have coffee, which like I'm going to go into, me, and not having caffeine, my head's going to hurt and it's going to be a mess. So, I can't take ibuprofen. I can't I'm going to be a hot mess. And then the Tuesday is when you take the medicine to
Clear you out.
So I can't be at work then either because I can't be
that's definitely a no.
running to the bathroom every day. So yeah, my boss I'm going to be like, look, I'm working from home Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because Wednesday is the actual procedure. And then Thursday and Friday I'll be back in the office.
Yeah.
It is what it is, but you know what I mean? I got to do what I got to do. But yeah,
Absolutely.
so hopefully I lose some
Hopefully
weight.
it all works out. Yeah, right. Seriously.
And then
That's
after
funny.
the colonoscopy, I will eat, and then I'll come and work from home the rest of the day.
Yeah.
So,
Have a good meal.
yeah, Burger King. No.
No, we already had that one done.
Mexican. It'll be Mexican.
Understandable. And your
I love me
mojito.
My mojito. I love
You can
it.
get mojitos instead of margaritas.
I know.
No,
that's
margaritas
gonna
are
be
so
my
better.
Yeah, they probably. Yeah. You know what's so funny? The whole time we were in Costa Rica, I never asked for a margarita.
Really?
Yeah, I did pina coladas or mojitos.
Interesting.
And then when my stomach was messed up, I couldn't have alcohol, so I just had Coke
Water.
Zero. That was it. No.
Okay.
Alyssa, you know me. I do not
Just
drink water if I
saying.
don't
know,
have to.
I was just
I know that's what I was supposed to be drinking, but
Yeah.
I don't drink water if I don't have to. I hate
Okay.
water, but
not judging.
I drink it. I drink it, but I
Yeah.
don't like it.
I'm not
I miss
judging.
our gallon jugs. I miss that.
I only have. Well, I do have my half gallon, but like I
Yeah.
It's easier to carry around with me.
Yeah, I have my 32 ounce
Yeah.
thing that I drink. I drink 2 of them at work, so I feel like that's good enough.
Yeah, I think so.
So, yeah.
Probably 2 more, but whatever.
I'm getting it.
Yeah. But that is our episode. Thank you guys so much for that was a long one, so I hope you guys
That was.
enjoyed it. We'll see you guys next time.
Okay, bye.